Morrison that are going to get involved. Weddle would be another one they'd be watching really closely.
Stage set. You set the table magnificently. Let's hand over to our commentary team led by Gerard Waitley. Gerard.
Gaz, thank you. For the first time, the marquee Friday night footy time slot comes to Launceston. It is a suitably chilly winter's evening, but there's not a breath of wind. We have before us two top four aspirants who are both coming off crucial round 13 wins and are ready to test their mettle against each other. This is such a stronghold for the Hawks, but the last team to breach was Adelaide. That was back in 2023, as you saw. The Hawks are 7 in a row since. And Anthony Hudson, it's an advantage they guard jealously down here.
It is, understandably so. It is a beautiful oval for football, and Jack and Jason, who are with us in commentary tonight, will know that well. We've been on the road with the Crows the last couple of weeks. It's a bit hard to know what to make of that result in the end against Brisbane. You could certainly mount an argument either way. But the result certainly has set the Crows on a path where really top four should be in their sights.
Jack Revolt, welcome.
Yeah, thanks, Gerard. A bit of a treasure for me tonight, commentating with a few greats and a few first-timers as well. But the Crows, I mean, they've played some good footy down here at York Park, and they're coming off I think a win that might be season-defining against the champs in the Brisbane Lions. Is it the recognition of where they might be at? And that's the thing we get to see again tonight against another top four aspirant.
Jason Dunstall, hello.
I'm looking forward to this one. The Crows trying to consolidate a spot inside the top four. Just the one change for them. Lockie Murphy in for the suspended James Peatling. And look, they just have such a solid lineup now. The only thing we're doubting is the consistency to perform week in, week out against the best teams. They get another opportunity to do that tonight. Yes, Hawthorn have a great record here, but this is the team that beat them only a couple of seasons ago. So they won't have any fears coming down here again.
The captain, Jordan Dawson, look, he was immense in that last quarter. It has been lionised, hasn't it? Now, how will he start on the road tonight?
He's been an inspired recruit, hasn't he? And an inspired choice for captain as well. The leadership that he provides, the level of excellence that he has found week in, week out. And you can keep a good player down for only so long. And the Lions did that last week, and then he exploded in the last term, Jack, and basically helped him over the line.
Yeah, he finally cracked the Dunkley code. Josh Dunkley had the better of him in the first three quarters. You can see the match ranking there. In the last quarter, importantly, it'd be fascinating to see how they used him, because they used him a little bit more forward last week in that last quarter, and that's where in the area he was able to get Josh Dunkley. Another match winner for me, I think, tonight, where we've already spoken to Sam Mitchell, and he said they're focusing on Dawson and Rankin. And he's the superstar, Isaac Rankin, what he does. And his partnership with Josh Rochelle, it's this 80-20 rule. Rankin plays 80% on ball, Rochelle a little bit of 20, and then they swap over. But they both service the Adelaide Football Club in those respected areas. And you see the last 5 matches there. Disposal's good, ground ball gets, that means he's getting around the ground, and he's so clean, still hitting the scoreboard and those scoring moments. Josh Rochelle is averaging in the same period 3 goals. So they've just got their balance nice between those two.
The Crows are 9 and 4. They sit third. The Hawks are 8 and 5, 6th. So that's how important tonight's win is. It will either separate these two teams by 8 points or draw them together as they vie for places in the top 4 at the end of the season. 83 games in all for the Hawks through time at this ground. 62 wins. That's how they have protected the fort down in Tassie.
Yeah, good to see Nick Watson coming back in, gives that little bit of X factor. And with James Warple going on, I'm really pleased that Henry Huswaite gets another opportunity. It's just game number 10 for the young midfielder. He just does it so easily and comfortably at VFL level week in, week out. I think he's coming second in the coaches MVP, averaging 33 touches a week at VFL level. So he gets an opportunity to strut his stuff. And again, can they put their best foot forward and start to take some of these scalps that will actually make them a genuine contender for the top 4, top 6 positions?
Shine Newcomb, so in the 2 meetings these teams had last year, he polled the 2 votes in the Brownlow on both occasions.
He might need to poll 3 tonight, Terry, because there's no Will Day, there's no James Warple, so an even bigger load falls on this man's shoulders. I love the way he goes about it. There's no fuss, there's no frills. he'll just charge through it. He'll run through, he'll run around, he'll run over the top of, whatever he needs to do. And he's got a beautiful leg on him too. So, but having said that, they're a little bit light on for depth in the midfield, the Hawks. He needs to be at his very best.
He's a barometer, isn't he? And you see all the offensive stats there, but the tackles and the attitude of tackling was the thing that Sam Mitchell put on the agenda prior to the win against the Bulldogs last week. This man had 6, and he led with his body on the line, and he's the one tonight that needs to put his head in the hole. He needs to be laying those tackles on that Adelaide midfield and setting the standard.
I love watching this bloke play. He's very quickly become, if not my favourite, certainly one of my favourite players at Hawthorn to watch. And he probably has to play that third tall down back. Look for him to rebound when he gets the opportunity. He'll intercept mark if he thinks he can take the mark. But you can just see the numbers that he's starting to put together. And he's been used in lots of different roles. I think they want to settle him at halfback and let him become that rebounding defender that can defend first and then turn defence into attack so quickly. He's a beautiful runner, loves to have a bounce. And again, another little bit of X factor, Jack.
Yeah, he is. And with James Sicily out, the captain, this man needs to play down back. And you think the balance that they've got down back. I thought Tom Barris's game last week was his best game for Hawthorn. Just to spoil, battles the balance in between offence and defence. And this man here, yes, he does defend and will need to defend on one of the key forwards for Adelaide tonight. But he is an unbelievable offensive weapon. Not many players his size can run with the speed and angles that he does.
The countdown to the opening siren is on. Launceston has been gifted a powerhouse match. It's first Friday night at UTAS Stadium. Hawthorn and Adelaide coming up next on Fox Footy. 2 top 4 aspirants ready to measure themselves against each other.
All right, Friday night football, Eddie G. Tell you what, it's back and we love it. Of course, we've got a big game on our hands tonight. It's the mighty Hawthorn Football Club taking on the Adelaide Crows. I tell you what, this is going to be underway in 6 minutes' time. We'll be back with the commentators in just a moment. But before we get back there, we are going to have a look at the teams, the ins and outs for both of these squads. And of course, as we see here, 5:50 before the start of play. And of course, let's have a look at the ins for Hawthorn to start with. Nick Watson is coming back into the side. Is he going to show his wizardry tonight, or has his magic wand? Is it still broken? We'll find out not too far away. Henry Hustlewaite comes in for the Hawks, those two boys. And of course, James Warple, Finn McGuinness going out. The sub is Jyth for Hawthorn. And of course, we have a look at the lineup there for the Hawks. From the fullbacks, we've got Josh Battle, Tom Brass, Carl Lamont, the halfbacks, Jarman Impey, Josh Weddle. Looking for a big game, of course, from Josh Weddle. Again, he always does well. Blake Hardwick. The centres, Massimo D'Ambrosio, Connor Nash, Harry Morrison. The half forwards, Jack Gunston, Dylan Moore and Nick Watson look pretty dangerous at half forward line, don't they? And of course, the forwards, Ramsden, Chol and Ginnivan. Chol been in pretty good form lately. The followers are Meek Newcomb and Josh Ward. We have a look at the interchange there. Seamus Mitchell, Hustlewaite, Sam Butler, Connor McDonald. That's the Hawthorn lineup as we see them. And of course, for Adelaide Crows, coming into the side, Lachlan Murphy, and of course going out, James Peatling. Just the one change for this fantastic side. Adelaide Crows are going really well at the moment. The sub for the Adelaide Crows this evening is Brodie Smith, and of course we've only got one milestone player playing their milestone game tonight, and of course that is for the Adelaide Crows. Ben Keys on 150 games. Well done to Benny Keys. 150, that's a great feat in anyone's language. 150 games of AFL football. Well done, Ben Keys. For the Adelaide Crows, their lineup from the backs, we've got the full back line, Josh Worrell, Jordan Butts, Mitchell Hinge, the halfbacks, Max McClaney, Mark McKean, Rory Laird, the halfbacks. The centres, Isaac Cumming, Jordan Dawson, Daniel Curtin, the half forwards for the Crows, Ben Keys, Riley Thilthorpe and Lachlan Murphy. The forwards, Josh Shelley, in for another big game this evening, I'm sure about that, against the mighty Hawks. Taylor Tex Walker, also for him, looking for a big game from him, and Darcy Fogarty. I tell you what, if you thought Hawthorn's forward line were pretty strong, Adelaide's is just as strong. The followers, Riley O'Brien. Hey, Sheila May. Gee, a mega love shout out. Good to see you in here. The famous Sheila May. Welcome in. Riley O'Brien, Isaac Ranky, Sam Berry are the followers, the interchange. Luke Pedler, Alex Neil Bullen, and Jake Saligo and Wayne Miller. They are your interchanges. They are your teams, your lineups, the ins and outs for both teams. We're only a couple of minutes away. Let me just reload that up for a second. That's up. Let's have a look on the ladder where both of these two teams sit. Now, this is a fantastic... I'll tell you what, this is a big win for either side tonight because as we see, the Adelaide Crows, after playing 13 games so far, they're sitting third on the ladder, 1-9, lost 4, 36 points. There we go with a really good percentage of 137.2. Hawthorn down there in 6th position, 8 wins, 5 losses, 32 points. They'll be wanting to win this game tonight for a big chance and a run at the top 4. Well, there we go. I'm not sure whether the Hawks will actually make it into the top 4 this week, even if they win. Just their percentage of 111.8 is a little bit low. That being said, though, the Hawks need to win this game to cement themselves so far in the top 8. And as I said, vying for a position in the top 4. Adelaide Crows, however, 36 points. If they win tonight, well, they go to second on the ladder, just a game behind Collingwood. Of course, Brisbane's still yet to play. As I said, they've got that fantastic percentage. Adelaide Crows really wanting to cement themselves in a top 4 position, and they can certainly do that tonight. Bianca, how you going? Shouty. Happy Friday and all. Good luck, Bianca, with you and the Hawks. This is a must-win game for the Hawks tonight. As I was saying, 32 points. They need the 4 points tonight, jump up to 36 and just be safe for at least another couple of weeks in the top 8 and try and make a run for the top 4. It'd be nice, Ala Rose, shouty, for some more Victorian sides to get up into the top 4. Of course, we've got Collingwood, Geelong, Hawthorn, the Dogs. We've got 4 interstate sides there. So this is really going to be a fantastic, interesting match. I tell you what, it's going to be a tight battle. I think they'll beat a little bit of an arm wrestle early on, but I expect a little bit of fast play, fast tempo in this game this evening. It should be an absolute ring-a-ding-ding game. Big. We need to win and a big margin. I know got to get that percentage up. Need to get that hunger the Hawks were showing last year. I think, you know what I like about the Hawks? When they put a lot of speed on the ball, I think that the speed is one of their big weapons. Hawthorn move the ball fast and it can sort of leave the others flat-footed. So let's hope Hawthorn can do that and make a really good game out of this one with Adelaide Crows tonight. Of course, playing this down at the University Tasmanian Stadium down there in Tasmania, Launceston. You would think, this is a home game for the Hawks. They've decided to play down there. And they normally do play pretty good down there, the Hawks. So it's going to be a tough effort for Adelaide. But two fantastic teams right up the pointy end of the ladder. Really going to fight this one out tonight. Should be a really interesting game. Looking forward to this game. This is probably just about the round of the match. Hawthorn taking on Adelaide down there in Tasmania. Tell you what, folks, I'm excited to see this game. Don't forget to vote. Sheila May, Chia, who are you going for? You going for Hawthorn or the Crows? Don't forget to put your selections in. So far, we've got 50% saying Hawthorn, 50% saying the Adelaide Crows. We're undecided yet. We need some deciding votes from the good folks coming in as the game goes on, as the broadcast goes on. Tell you what, it's going to be an absolute ring-a-ding-ding game, like I was saying. But there we go. Hey, that's enough of me talking, jibber-jabbering on for a little bit. Why don't we get down to the action where the real action is, and that's down on the ground with the commentators, because they're about to bounce the ball to the opening quarter. Whereas Hawthorn taking on Adelaide. Let's hope it's a classic game.
Pointy end, probably haven't played their best footy. They've got a few outs, but this is time for Adelaide to arrive.
We saw Dylan Moore tossing the coin, talking to the Hawthorn players before the game. There's a man that hasn't quite found his All-Australian form. He's one that needs to step up tonight.
All right, We are set to go. A fresh but fabulous Friday night ahead on Fox Footy. It is Hawthorn and Adelaide, and it is O'Brien who gets the tap. Newcomb tried to work his way, Rankin, they all have a bit of a piece of it. And eventually it is the Crows. Dawson will get the release kick out of the middle after Berry's hard yakka, but Impey there to settle things down. D'Ambrosio, it's not going to help if you lose your footing before the ball arrives. Back along the wing, the ruckman located there. O'Brien doing what he had to do. Kept it alive, led Michael Lanny. Stayed in. I don't think anyone really expected it to. And Laird was probably wishing initially that it didn't, but now he's got a free for some high contact.
Yeah, I think that's against Ginnivan coming in as the second tackler. Just one arm going a little bit high. Always a risk when you kick the ball in like that into defensive position. Would have been easy for the Crows to accept the throw-in.
Season number 13 for Rory Laird. He takes the territory up the line, takes out a fly. O'Brien brought it to ground. D'Ambrosio squabbles, coming the other way.
Wouldn't be surprised if we see some long down the lines early on, both sides just feeling each other out. Territory game.
O'Brien puts it down underfoot. D'Ambrosio first access, just brushed his boots. Dawson onto it, works it around to Cumming. So Adelaide get it forward first. No penetration about it. Thought couldn't handle it. It'll be thrown in.
You see Connor Nash running with Jordan Dawson, and that's certainly when the boys spoke to Matty Nix pre-game. He thought that would happen, so no great surprises there.
The matchup's pretty well as forecast. Battle has Fogarty. Adelaide get the first look. See if they can create from the stoppage. O'Brien gets it going deeper. Cut off though. Wards out to Morrison. Hawks to set up.
Out to the wing, Chol, a long way up the ground to accept. That's his direct opponent. The floating handball. Weddle is away. So he's going to run off Taylor Walker, you would expect continuously. He'd like that one back.
Yeah, it was an ordinary hand pass to start with. It was the right idea from Chol. He wanted to release Weddle and let him run, but it just made life difficult for him.
Hinge's kick to the wing, and Hardwick settling back onto Walker on that occasion and denies him.
Yeah, the Weddle-Walker matchup's a really interesting one. You can already see Weddle wanting to get back, get off him and get up the ground and be an offensive weapon. Tex has got to make sure if he has minimal disposals tonight, he has to hit the scoreboard.
Just sounds good too, doesn't it? Weddle, Walker, as they get into it. O'Brien, maybe didn't sound quite as good as I thought it was going to. Rankin. Oh, Nash, another wonky bounce. Raymond came in, a little beg pardon with Taylor Walker there. And so no score.
They're the sort of kicks I think I'd like to see Isaac Rankin early in the game, and any player just get it inside 50, cause that chaos that could end up in an early score.
They're two big lugs in the ruck duel tonight. O'Brien and Meek. O'Brien ends up with it, works it away to Dawson, a chance to send the Crows inside, but Hardwick's playing back. Sets Impey on his way. Just couldn't turn and go. You can see the options. Impey just wobbled it out near Watson, quick release. Build some possibilities, battle over to Nash, straight into Berry.
It's a good tackle, quality tackle from Berry. Wrapped up the arms, wrapped up the ball, took him to ground, stopped it cold.
Hands the ball up. O'Brien well placed.
He's done well in the ruck early on, O'Brien. He's been able to get front spot. He's been able to hold Meek out of it. Started particularly well.
First venture into ruck, Lotto. See what you reckon. He's dragging at the left arm. O'Brien, just give him a chance to have a fly. Walker and Weddle underneath. Newcomb dragged off it, so it creates a possibility. Murphy on return, couldn't quite find Rankin. Ward paid the price of the Fogarty tackle.
Well, this could potentially have been a dangerous tackle here, but you see the care shown by Berry right at the end there.
Beetling, of course, missing because of the dangerous tackle last week. Clearing kick back to the middle from Impey. Gunston ever so clever to Ramsden. It didn't really help Moore's cause. Laird attentive. Ginnivan cautious. Worrell. Scramble continues. Ramsden out to Gunston. Was on the back foot. D'Ambrosio can get the weight and the footy going in the right direction to Moore. Over it goes again. So it feels like they're hard territory gains at this stage.
Well, Hawthorn haven't taken the ball inside 50 yet. 3 minutes into the game, this is their first opportunity. Territory so important early on.
Hawks had the Crows measure last year by 60 and 27 points. Ward looking to break through, but Murphy, that's one of the reasons he's back in the team.
He's been tackled about 4 times already. Josh, whatever time he gets it, he's just getting smashed.
He must be very tackleable. There's the long sleeves of Rochelle. Morrison first to track it down. For the first time, had a really long look inside 50. Out came Butts, disturbed Moore, who's just looked a bit disorientated, but good enough to get the handball chain to Newcomb, rattled out of Gunston's hands, and the Crows players paid the free kick, and so did the umpire.
If I'm Matthew Nixon, I see Josh Rochelle in my back half, in my D50 tackling like that, that's a great sign.
Just got the arm to the head, Dylan Moore, as he went past, completely accidental.
Michael Annie has plenty of space in which to move. Bounce did come back to him. He hasn't placed the kick particularly well. Fogarty tried to get it onto Dawson. The Hawks mustered some numbers to it. Meek toted her out. Knocked back the way of Amon, who pumped it up the line. Keane paddles away. Ramsden has a go. It is a mad scramble in the early exchanges. Keys taken to ground. He was happy to find the boundary.
Just get the feeling the ball's going to spend a lot of time on the ground. It's greasy, the pressure's on. It's a very scrappy start to the game.
We spoke about some of these really big, important matchups as we have a look at Dylan Moore, who looks okay after that contact. But Ben Keys in game number 150, it looks like he's got the defensive forward role on Jarman Impey, the halfback flanker.
Shelley had a mind on the fly, just got past him, so Meek barreled in. Out near Watson, Michael Annie first access. Crows a chance to bring it away. Worrell wobbles it up the line. Thilthorpe trying to get out the back. Hardwick's got other ideas. Weddle combines with Impey. Hardwick again. Tight to the boundary. D'Ambrosio brings it forwards. No contests. Worrell well done.
It's a big challenge for Worrell. One of the veteran Hawthorn forwards, a man who draws the ball. Very good on the lead, Jack Gunston.
It's been in very good form. Josh Worrell becoming an important interceptor for them.
Yeah, another 10 last week. Well, he did concede some goals early, had his hands full with Rayner. Little handball goes off. Rankin's kick inside 50 again, just overclubbed at a fraction. Thilthorpe goes to work. Hardwick matched him for intensity. Dawson the scramble. Berry, excellent collect. Can he snap at 50? No, he can't. But at the top of the square, the winger gets there. Curtin outmarking Morrison.
He's got a distinct size advantage, and he loves to push forward, Dan Curtin, even when he's stationed on the wing. That's a good contested mark in the conditions. He'll kick the first goal of the game, give Adelaide the start they needed.
Hasn't kicked a goal since round 5 against Geelong. The young man is eyeing the goals off here, though. 18 consecutive games. Holy prize draft pick comes in, should pop it through, and the first goal comes off the boot of Curtin. Goes to the Crows 8 minutes into the opening term.
Yeah, well, I think Matthew Nix would be absolutely wrapped with the way the Adelaide Crows have started this game down in Launceston. 197 centimetres as a winger, Jason. It's an incredible luxury to have. Plays a bit forward. Harry Morrison only 184, and you can just see here it was just a bigger man able to nudge Morrison under the ball. And that's that time spent playing forward. Riley Thilthorpe lucky to get away with that one, but Jordan Dawson with a little sly kick. But I love kicks to the top of the goal square. They're unpredictable. To push forward as a winger, and we see so many wingers in the modern age sliding forward to full forward to become goal-kicking options. You think of Ollie Dempsey from Geelong, but Curtin's got something, and that's a matchup that Adelaide could really expose Hawthorn with tonight on the wing.
It's good size for a wingman. He's going to have an advantage against most.
Joined the Rising Star class last week. Berry on the break, got it from Saligo, gives them a look at Thilthorpe. He is a man mountain. Barris takes some moving, but move him he did.
Well, he's a beast of a man, this fella. And if you can win clearances, particularly centre bounce clearances, you'll get these one-on-one opportunities. I like the kick from Berry. He just found the isolated contest, and he said, very happy to kick it to Riley Thilthorpe, regardless of who's on him. He is a huge, strong man. It's a big contested mark.
5 on debut on this ground. Riley Thilthorpe to get in on the axe. Oh. That's a bad miss.
Yeah, they're missing those.
It is. A little watch already for Tom Barris is You cannot let Riley Thilthorpe get to your back. You've got to make sure that you do everything in your power to stay behind. And if you're going to come to the front, you need to come to the front at exactly the right moment.
As you saw, Battle takes off. He liked the look of the wing, but was never going to make it to Mitchell. Curtin gets in there again. Plays it out wide.
Outside 5.
Former Demon, Neil Bullen. Well predicted. Ginnivan doesn't take the mark, and that allows Saligo in. Laird venturing forward. Scrappy kick for goal. We know how inaccurate they were last week early. The goalless opening term. They were brilliantly accurate the week before against Sydney, so it can turn quickly, as we know, but dominating territory.
Got to take full toll. The flow of the game is in the Crows' control. Forward 50 stoppage. Hurried clearance, Huswaite up in the air. Almost hinged, not quite. McDonald thumps it down the line. The Crows are so well set though. Laird plays to centre field for Dawson. Stay with him. Third year as captain, fourth year as a Crow. Give him a look. Thilthorpe against a few. Tex at the back, not quite nimble enough, but he stuck the tackle on Battle. Neil Bullen paddled for Saligo. Trying to change direction under pressure, did okay. Keys searching for the right target. No, just hook it up near the teeth of goal. Barris stood his ground.
Never played 20 games in a season, Tom Barris, which is quite amazing. He's 150 games with the West Coast Eagles, but he's been a permanent fixture so far for the Hawks. Challenge in the air for Cumming. He did enough. Gets it back through Rankin and Dawson and gets involved again. Berry's made a strong start. It's about to get better. Not by as much as he would have liked.
Well, he may have had an option in the square. Luke Pedler, I think it made some space, but he only had eyes for goal. Berry, you're right, Jared. They've got to take full toll. 8-1 the inside 50s, 6-4 clearances in their favour, and 11-3 the tackles. So they're controlling the game at the moment.
It's hard not to let the mind wander back to last week when in their 15-minute burst they got 5 straight and won the game. Dawson got the arms chopped. Third in the Coaches Association votes, just a couple off the pace.
Possession number 7 for Jordan Dawson.
Just repeat inside 50s.
Give them a look up at full forwards. Tex got turned around, that was okay. Swatted it out the side, nobody waiting. D'Ambrosio, Hardwick just has to clear the area in a hurry. Crows have got the numbers here. Dawson couldn't quite work it around. Ginnivan ran interference. Joel gets to work. And they threaten to bring it away. Cumming though inserts himself. Butts, Berry, Neil Bullen, Cumming. It was a clever little manoeuvre, but no real direction about it as a result. Impey onto it.
I think the worrying sign is that 70% of the game is being played in the Adelaide forward half, so clearly at the moment being able to get re-entries and setting up well defensively.
70%, feels like 90. Juggling effort from Meek. And he drags it down.
They'd love to possess the ball if they could for a little while, the Hawks, but it's just kick to contest and then Adelaide are taking it away.
Same again, contest kick down the line. Joel not really a target there, didn't help him. He actually made the spoil on Butts in the end. And it does buzz around a bit until Newcomb arrived. Missed Butler with a handball, but had Weddle. And now Ginnivan in reserve, into the 50, that's better. Well, Colin McDonald can't mark. Nothing easy tonight, it seems. D'Ambrosio, so that it keeps him with Watson on return. So strong as ever to keep his balance. And McDonald deep to the line. Not accurate either, the Hawks, but at least they're on the ball.
It's a few times that the Hawthorn forwards have been pushed under the football. You see Jack Ginnivan trying to spot up McDonald. It should have been a chest mark. That's multiple chest marks dropped now.
Laird worked his kick well for Dawson, prolific in the early stages.
Yep, possession number 8 coming up.
So Sam Mitchell nominated 3, he was one of them. They don't have him under control at the moment. Tex was the target, Impey made the spoil and ended up with it, courtesy of D'Ambrosio, but a line breaking from Impey. Inside 50, it always favoured Keane, he made the spoil. Ginnivan planted himself underneath. He's changed his mind once or twice, Moore's got a couple against him. Moore stays in the contest. Curtin lends a hand. Might have got taken low.
Might be on child court. Too close again as a key forward.
Yes, spot on, Jack. The Hawks forwards are all getting up the ground really high, so therefore on turnover, they don't have a great representation to kick to.
Fogarty outnumbered. Meek throws his heft around. It came back to Thilthorpe. Down the line goes the kick. Time and space was on the side of Batley. Dashes it away. Now Weddle up the wing and beyond to half forward. And Curtin in the mix. Thilthorpe and Watson. Pedler turned into trouble and not out. Butler stayed true.
Gee, it's a good tackle. They had numbers if he was able to release the hand pass.
Sam Butler first game back last week. 14 disposals, 2 goal assists. And he's got some centre bounce time because they are lacking in depth at the moment in their midfield. Walker, I think man inside 50 was Impey. Keys breaks one way. Rochelle tucked away to the left. He might be forced to go that way. He just floats the kick in the end down the line. If there's crumbs, it could be Pedler, or it could be Keys, Hardwick, Mitchell, Murphy. Was that? Yes, it was. A bit of in danger going the way of Hardwick.
They are hanging by a thread at the moment. The ball is living down there. They just need to get a couple of goals for their trouble, the Crows.
Check below the knees. Impey clears back to the wing again.
Marking contest set, clears and runs on. Michaelani dipped low, Watson disturbed him. Moore feeds Watson. He can go on a bouncing run and shape it all up. He's being chased. He didn't know. Brilliantly done. Worrell.
That's an extraordinary chase. There was a shepherd he had to get through as well, which was only a half shepherd, and he wasn't put off. He kept going. Absolutely brilliant from Worrell. That's team lifting.
His intercept game has been lauded, but nothing like that will be. Free kick against Tex. Is it Moore's ball? 5 in the game earlier last year. Move it on. It's a busy setup up ahead. The Hawks will test it. Gunston couldn't get a fly. McDonald just held off it. Keeps beavering away, but to no effect.
Unbelievable, this chase.
Have a look, there's a half shepherd from Ramsden. Puts him off his line, but he still gets around and keeps going.
Team lifting effort. Shelley back. It's just smashed out of there. Disturbed on the way. Fogarty and Walker both played their part. Again, it's a lone figure back there. Barris this time. Rounds it up inside. That ball is awkward to pick up. Make anyone a little nervous. Back to Hardwick. He seems a pretty cool customer back there. Lofts it up to the wing. Moore couldn't get possession. Curtin could. And he started so well from a marking point of view. He's second in their contested marks this year. It'll be fascinating to see where he ends up, won't it, Dan Curtin? Recruited as an intercepting defender, but with the view that he could end up forward or even in the midfield.
Well, he's finding his home on the wing at the moment, and you think Dawson's over 195 and you've got Curtin at 197. It gives them other viable options around the ground.
Rankin to half forward where the numbers gather. Weddle one but not the two. Mark Wilson paid, I think rightfully so, to Thilthorpe through Dawson. And now Saligo off the left, just easing it in the Keys direction and beyond. Battle prepared to go inboard with a handball, and that was pretty clever really from Amon to take it away knowing how close Murphy was.
It's interesting these nights that the ball does spend a lot of time on the ground. Coaches would like to flip their forwards around, so usually the taller forwards are deeper and the smaller forwards are up. Might be the first coach that actually flips it around and uses the space out the back to their advantage.
Crows dominating every statistical category, and they have their pressure dialed right up. Thilthorpe held his ground in front to be dealt with underneath. Weddle held by Rochelle, was able to feed it away. Mitchell cleared the area. Scholl, good body work. Almost brushed his way clear. Moore got mown down. McDonald feeds it up. Hustwaite just takes territory. How will this bounce? It kicked on in the favour of Miller. Brushed away D'Ambrosio. Feeds it to Tex. Walker. Land this wide inside the 50. Keys grappled with Amon to no avail. This is what just a bit shorter.
Jordan Dawson, what a start he's made to this game already. 9 disposals, a couple of score involvements. Crows are 9-4 in first quarters this year. The Hawks 8-5. They made a great start last week against the Bulldogs, of course, but It's the Crows for the territory. Only a slender lead, though. Butler feeding it back. D'Ambrosio just adjusted the kick, but it still goes to Miller. He scopes out the forward 50. Nothing is apparent. Weddle, one of the spare bodies back there. He can fly and take the mark. That was all a little too predictable, and it's worth 50 for the follow-on from Murphy. An easy exit for the Hawks. Weddle, what will he be thinking here? Mind working overtime. Does he run? Does he handball? He kicks in the end to full forward. Crows defence well set. Keen. Pretty easy mark.
Just not getting the context they need in the air, in the forward line at the moment. Marby or Chol, Jack Gunston not being able to bring the ball to ground.
Top full intercept. Defender in the comp. Keen out through Miller on to Fogarty. He will deploy across halfway for Walker.
Oh, that's nearly 50. He was late getting there, Barris.
Jabs it up to half forward. Hinge with a chance to send it inside. Dawson would like it. Rochelle to put it near the launch zone.
It's a good matchup. Him on Hustwaite deep. That's where I'd be kicking it.
Rochelle has had a long look and then does kick it there. Up comes O'Brien. Got a piece of it, couldn't quite hang on. Skittles around Rankin. Kick smothered. Brilliantly done by Hardwick. Just clears it outside the area. Keen over, but he's got support. Laird onto it. Keen recovers. Shows Gunston the footy. He is running rings around the veteran at the moment. Pods for Walker. Gives them a look deep. Doesn't feel like the kick, although Keys made it so good. Oh, Cumming made it so good.
Gee, that's a good mark in the conditions. He wasn't in the strongest position. It looked like he'd be able to get held underneath the ball. D'Ambrosio looked to have a pretty solid position.
What about Marquis' little left foot kick into that line?
Yeah, I think Adelaide had really two good options there as well. The lead-up came up from the key forward, but Cumming is that winger we've spoken about. They've already got a goal tonight from a winger pushing forward. It was the other side this time, and Cumming, fantastic mark.
Such a valuable acquisition. Has played every game since arriving from the Giants. Isaac Cumming, it's a simple enough shot. And the Crows have two. And they are well worthy of this advantage in the opening term.
Probably deserve to be further in front, the Crows, the way they've started. 16-7, the inside 50s dominating territory. What impresses me, they've got their noses in front in all the other areas, but they're winning the tackles 17-6. So as soon as the Hawks do get their hands on the ball, they are under immense pressure, and that's why these turnovers are happening, and the ball continues to come back inside the Crows forward 50, and that's just a brilliant one-on-one contest.
I think the critical point here as well is that you look at those three players in screen that first to the contest. They're all Adelaide players as well at the moment. So Hawthorn's defence, they're relying on just numbers flooding back, and it's actually killing their offence as well. Once they do win it back and kick it out, Rory Laird is just constantly sweeping behind, and those repeat inside 50s are starting to become an issue.
The 2-minute noodles are up.
Push at the back. Push goes to O'Brien.
Back 2 metres, please. Sorry.
Why not? Path straight to goal. Bill Thorpe, third in line. Potentially pushed there, Newcomb. And potentially dived on the ball. I think more the ball found him rather than the reverse. Shelley deep back there, being watched by Weddle. Out of the skirmish. Lenny Saligo. Morrison this time has Curtin's measure. This is the hard part for Hawthorn, isn't it?
Yep, they're just not finding easy, uncontested marks. The Crows defensively have been first rate.
In danger of going goalless in this opening term. Length on the kick again from Weddle. The extra body is a Crow. Spoil butts. Berry tried to handball now. Did he have an opportunity? Yes, he did. Didn't take it according to the umpire. Hard work and free kick for McDonald. 50 filling quickly, so he goes short. Now Morrison has the choice. Just kept it going along the line, but for the frustration of Nash, he's ignored. So they're relatively shallow entry as they come up to the footy. Free kick to the Hawks. Ramsden.
Oh, this is a big kick. He's not the most natural kick for goal you've ever seen, Big Max Ramsden, but he's an imposing presence coming in.
Second game for the season, 7th all up.
Wasn't a heck of a lot in it, just got slightly turned around by Jordan Butts. Get away with that most times, I would have thought.
Just moves the ball a little bit too much for on the way in Ramsden. Just goes, so you can see just there. I'd just love to see him just hold it nice and still.
Just one career goal. A big kick from a big man, unfortunately not the big result they were after. So
no, and that would have been huge for the Hawks against the run of play to only be one goal down. You just can't afford to be missing those. Young man making his way into the game. He's got to find a way to take the limited opportunities that come his way.
Pressure and tackle, which was brought back into the Hawthorn game, hasn't been on show in this opening term. Weddle will give them a repeat entry. Awkward ball to deal with, dealt with well enough. McDonald sticks the tackle. He'll hand the footy up.
I think the uncontested marks is exactly right. Only 12 tonight so far. They had 72 last week.
Nick and O'Brien nullified each other. Miller up. Get it outside the area. Weddle was well set. Couldn't take the mark, and Berry as a result has got it. Releases Rochelle. Put it back through the traffic for Pedler. Settles on his kick to half forward. Well gathered by Murphy off to Thilthorpe. Can he get himself within range? He can. Now the task of finishing the job. He gave it a good look. It just packed it on the surface.
He wasn't going to catch him, Tom Barras, but what he did was keep him on his left foot, and that was the important part of the chase.
Kicked a ripping goal on the run late last week. Riley Thilthorpe nearly repeats the dose there.
Could have been Buddy Franklin like that.
Big man just took off, didn't he?
Buddy with a beard.
So it's been a forgettable opening term from the Hawks. He'll ball it on the job there. All the defensive traits, the pressure that the Crows have celebrated.
Just been impressed with the way they've set up defensively, not allowing the 45-degree angle kicks, not allowing uncontested marks, just making the Hawks kick long to contest.
That's it for the opening term. The Hawks without a goal to show this ground where they normally are so good and so hard to beat. Some issues for Sam Mitchell to address at the first break. The Crows lead by 13, and it could well have been more. 3 big quarters to go here, and a huge day of footy tomorrow coming your way. And it starts with 2 teams coming off a loss. Brisbane going down so narrowly in a heartbreaker in Adelaide, and the Giants, one of their most disappointing performances against Port Adelaide. It'll be on tomorrow, Brisbane and the Giants.
All right, there we go. Quarter time, and it's the Adelaide Crows doing the job. 2-3-15. Hawthorn just 2 behinds, 2 points. There we go. Hawthorn kept goalless in the opening term. The Mimi Crafter, how you going? Welcome in, welcome in. G'day, Mark and Rhett, of course. Tina, shouty, Manuel. What's going on? I'll tell you what. It's that cold. You can see the players' breaths. Tasmania, it's always cold. Tina, if you're there, loading if you're there, Lang, if you can hear me. Anyway, there we go. I'll tell you what, it was the control. Well, for me, it was the Crows that looked definitely the much better side in that opening term. They seemed to control the ball more than the Hawks, although it was sort of up and down play, a little bit of a scrappy opening quarter, a little bit like the Hawks sort of, well, I can't see any players there in that opening term that just take a little bit of composure and a little bit of time to see where they want to go. Adelaide, well, they've got a couple of players there that did do that, showed a little bit of composure in that opening term. I think that's where you need some of the senior players coming into it, and I think maybe that's what Hawthorn lack. I do like the speed and the run Hawthorn put on the ball. But they just don't seem to be linking up as well with each other this season as they were last season. So we'll see. -5 in Launceston. My gosh, any wonder you can see. Tell you what, it does look cold out there. They were saying it's a little bit moisture out there on the ground and whatever. But look, it should be pretty good. It should be pretty good to play footy, and even though it's -5, players will be running around up and down, so they'll be warming up. No worries about that, Eddie G. But, yeah, look, Adelaide just didn't take their opportunity when they probably could have. 2 goals, 3, 15. I would have thought they should have been a little bit further in front. So Hawthorn actually probably won't mind this opening quarter. They've still got a lot to improve on as the game unfolds, just being 13 points in the drift, probably around 0 actually. What is it here? I tell you what, it's 5 degrees here in Melbourne. So it's always colder down in Tassie. Mark my words, it is always colder down in Tassie, as you well know. Let's go and have a little bit of a look at some of the players' stats. Goal scorers, well, there's only 2 in the opening term. Of course, that is to Adelaide. Daniel Curtin, Isaac Cumming. There we go. Both singles. Ball magnets. Ambrosi, though, for the Hawks. He tops the table with 10, 6 kicks, 4 handballs. Jordan Dawson for the Crows, best for them on 9 with 1 clearance. Josh Weddle, he always has a pretty good game there for the Hawkers. He's on 8. There we go. 1 each, 1 each, 1 each. Saligo on 8. Let's just roll down these quickly. Taylor Walker looked lively in the opening term. 5 touches, 5 kicks. Grabbing the ball well with 3 marks there. Ranky also with 5. Dylan Moore just with a 5. Also, let's just keep rolling down a little bit. Ginnivan, there we go. Hasn't done much. 3 kicks. 2 kicks, 1 handball. 3 touches total. Nick Watson, the Wizard. Well, thought he was pretty quick, but he got run down in a tackle. He's had just the 2 handballs in this game so far, so not a great deal there. Moab Charles, still waiting for him to produce. Get him down forward. I like him as a forward target down there with Gunston. Charles he really goes well. There we go. So he's been a little bit quiet also. So there is a lot. Well, Fogarty, mind you, Fogarty for the Crows, he's only had 1 touch, 1 kick also. So it's like that even with both sides when they're sort of going fast into their forwards, they're just sort of kicking. Show a bit of composure. Show a little bit of composure. Nice Adelaide Pies. No, it's the Adelaide Crows. Adelaide Crows. We're going for the Pies. The Pies, Sheila May. Collingwood Magpies is our team. But tonight, it's the Adelaide Crows, not the Adelaide Pies. Shut up. There we go. They're a little bit, a crow is like a blackbird, so you can say 4 and 20 blackbirds baked in a pie. Or an Adelaide pie, there we go. You know what they like in Adelaide? The mashed peas with pie. Does it float your boat? Or something like that, I think. My gosh, something like that. Anyway, that's enough for me. Oi, let's get back down to the action. We're only seconds away from the bounce of the ball for the... No, what do you mean, boo pies? You can't beat a good meat pie, Eddie G. We love pies, especially with a little bit of dead horse on it. Just be careful you don't burn your mouth when you bite into a hot pie. Hot pies! All right, let's head back down to the action where it's the Crows by 13 points.
On the ground. As a key forward, you might not mark the ball, but you have to bring it to the front. That is where the small forwards earn their pay on a night like tonight, Jason.
It's a really important kick, that kick going forward, Jack, and something that a lot of people don't understand is you don't always have to kick it as far as you can, because that doesn't always suit the forward. You've got to give him an opportunity to compete, and sometimes that means pulling 5 metres off your kick to give him an advantage and a chance to take the mark or at least bring it to ground.
We saw it with Sam Darcy and the Bulldogs last night. You've just got to kick it to that advantage, and it gives you the opportunity to score there and then score on the ground level.
Crows by 13 points. Hawks have got to find a foothold in the contest. Start of the second term on Friday night footy. Rucks engage. O'Brien fed it. Rankin just had a fumble when he was threatening to come out. Nash as a result. Works it around. Butler brushed a tackle. Off to Impey. Had plenty of it. Hand pass to Newcomb. Hawks try to get him into it. Tossed it up inside 50. Gunston got hands to it. On the fly, nothing doing. Rankin steady with a hand pass. Although he did Murphy no favours. Caught by a couple. Second one was illegal. Berry given the advantage. Dawson and Rankin, who kept on coming. Kicks to an open setup. Keys out the back. He'll steady, have a look, and trickle home a goal. Milestone game for Ben Keys, and he has a major to celebrate.
It wasn't conventional, the way that he got it through the sticks, but I think the build-up play there, Murphy critical of centre-half back there that he actually got that handball. That was that pivotal moment where we potentially could have been holding the ball. But the slick hands here, and Dawson and Rankin involved again. And as soon as those two players get involved, usually it ends up in an opportunity to score. And this man delisted Ben Keys, delisted by the Brisbane Lions, and the impact that he is having on the Adelaide Football Club centre forward. He is so important to their ball movement, so important to their defence, and he is a known goal kicker.
You got to keep your feet. Impey, in his desperation to spoil the ball in the air, loses his feet. It leaves Keys one out. He picks up the ball, kicks the goal.
3 goals in each of the last 2 weeks, and 15 coaches' votes to go with it from last year's equal best and fairest winner.
His tackling and pressure's been outstanding from the Crows. Relentless.
Yeah, good Simon, it's coming from your ruck as well.
Little handoff from O'Brien to Mike Delaney. Now it's Laird. The kick to the square. Philthorpe didn't fly. Left it for Fogarty. Impey a fumble. That could be trouble. He recovered well. Weddle just takes 60 metres of territory. It could be coming back. Worrell captured by Ramsden. He did a pretty good, decent job of it. So it's there to be won again. Murphy does the winning. The guiding came from Curtin. And Berry, who's thriving, the boy from Gippsland in these conditions. Curtin to full forward. They load it up again. Philthorpe coming, already has a goal to his name. Flicks it out wide. Rochelle hasn't really got going yet. Still hasn't quite. Floats it across. Walker almost held it. Keys threatening. And the Hawks, a deep breath, pure relief.
Once again, Hawthorn players going to ground, giving Adelaide players the opportunity to have a free run at the ball. It was Rochelle there that he was the one that kept his feet, kicks it into a really dangerous spot.
Crows have had more than double the entries of the Hawks.
They've all gone to one side, leaving one side open if they could create something, but they're going to go to the narrow side.
Well populated. Shoal hit it hard. Imposes himself on the contest.
First time he's committed to really going tonight.
Impey on the wraparounds. Given initially, he was still there as a legitimate option. Long down the line instead. O'Brien had position. Ramsden released it out the side. Worrell, Michaelani, Laird just needs a bit of support. Rankin offers that. Michaelani, the Crows have lost a bit of ground in the chain thus far. Kick comes up to an outnumber and over the boundary.
Just really organised behind the ball, Adelaide. In the contest, they're fighting hard, but they've always got protection at the back of each of those long down the line marking contests. It gives them a chance to defend and then offend from it as well.
Looking back into play, Murphy. Barris, the favour of the bounce. It made him easy prey for the tackle for Philthorpe. Back to his feet, gave it to Fogarty. Anything is possible. The skills of that man and the accuracy. A particularly difficult shot. And it's another minor, so that's 8 scores to 2, which is probably the best reflection between these two sides of how dominant Adelaide have been.
22 inside 50s to Adelaide as well, to only 10 for Hawthorn.
Hardwick again takes the territory on the narrow sides. Big men everywhere. Ramsden this time. Quick release. D'Ambrosio. What a great kick up the line. He's got relative numbers around it. Him sees it over the boundary.
Where's he going to come from for the Hawks, do you think?
It's difficult at the moment because they're under pressure every time they get the ball. They can't control possession at all. They're dominating the midfield, the Crows.
Not a breath of wind. Remember when last they were here against the Giants and the posts were blowing back and forth. Gunston impeded.
Well, probably the only way they've looked like getting another goal scoring opportunity at the moment is a free kick. They're not winning the one-on-one contest, but this time Gunston's able to get himself in a position to push pressure on the defender. He draws the free kick.
They've only had 4 free kicks in the game, and 2 of them have been shots for goal from in front.
Yep, and the reason he got it is because it was Keane that time who lost his footing and then had to hang on. See the tug of the jumper.
Yeah, I'd be investing in clearance a little bit more if I was Hawthorn to get myself back into the game. They win that clearance and they get a shot on goal. Getting beaten there at the moment, 13-8.
He really has wound back the clock at various stages this season. Jack Gunston meets the urgent need of the Hawks. They are finally on the board. And Jack's journey ties in these two teams originally selected by the Crows with pick 29 in 2009. There are 4 phases to it. And he has become a Hawthorn legend along the way. 20 goals in those 2 seasons where he was first drafted. That phase, 410 goals. A little dalliance up north for 22 and back here with 55 and growing right now. Jack Gunston has his say.
He's in the twilight of his career, but he's been really important to the forward mix-up this season in particular. He's managing to kick goals and he's proven to be a very good target, though. A little light on for manpower up forward, so they need him kicking goals.
Three-time leading goal kicker with the Hawks. And all those premierships that he was part of. Much needed goal. Does it change the way this game feels and is played from here? There's bodies going everywhere. Pedler was leaping and he was legged.
Surely you're allowed to bend down to pick the ball up though.
Let's have a look.
Oh, I guess he dived, didn't he?
He's held.
See, players are getting very good now. As soon as there's a player on the ground, they'll run into him with their legs and look for that free kick. Must be difficult for the umpires.
Mitchell,
lazy kick,
went over the middle man and got it to Hardwick. Just getting there from the stand start, as you said. So, the absence of Sicily in the last couple of weeks. Hardwick going back to defence, and he really does fit in pretty well back there. So comfortable.
It's one of the few times they've been able to switch and actually get some uncontested marks.
But can they get out the other side, Jason?
But at least it buys them a little bit of breathing time. Try and move the zone around a bit.
Maybe go back again the other way.
At least you can't be scored against when you've got the footy.
Barrister Hardwick. Can he put some pace on this now?
But who's working hard? Who's running?
Let's say it's medium pace. The run comes from Mitchell. He gave behind Ginnivan. He had the skills to pick it up. All he could do was that. Just snap it forward. Morrison was snappy himself to attention. He marks. Gets some one-on-ones ahead. Opportunity for Gunston. Good spoil Keane. Child played one of his best games last week. Top of the square goes the kick. Was that a mark from Big Meek? Wow, what a beautiful slide. He used the conditions, the glistening surface to his advantage there. And he'll have a shot for goal.
Does he get it or does it bounce? That bounces. Wow. That is not a mark. It wasn't conventional coming forward. There was an ordinary handball in the mix that put Ginnivan under all sorts of pressure. So a little bit more by luck than design. But at least they tried to change direction and get some run and carry going.
6 goals to his 12 games this year. 8's the most he's ever kicked in a season. Hasn't kicked a goal for 3 weeks. But like Gunston, he's blown his line as well.
Well, you look at the kick that Ramsden missed and the kick that he's missed. I guess there was one easy miss from Thilthorpe at the other end as well. So 2 bad misses to 1, but they could have been basically within 8 points, which, they should probably be 30 points down the way the game feels at the moment.
Keane sends it back into play and coming, a graceful rise. He was eager to go, hasn't been able to initially. So it might have to be a switch instead. Worrell spats out the far side. He stays more direct with Miller up.
And that's the difference on offence, that they've been able to take that straight kick, find the option.
It's got to be precise, and it meets the task. Keys with footy in hands. Weddle saw it coming. Ground ball to be won. Rankin has eyes for it. They all had eyes for him. O'Brien goes to ground with it under him. Had to release. Got the tunnel ball. That's the last we saw of it.
The ruck battle's fascinating at the moment. Lloyd Meek obviously just had a shot on goal, but Riley O'Brien's had 4 score involvements and has been all over the ground.
Keys releases Murphy. Neil Bowen, inventive, not quite enough. Couldn't find the way home. Ward to Weddle. Clears the area. It's tight to the boundary. You'd imagine it's over as Gunston sees it there for a throw-in.
So a goal each in this second term. Keys for the Crows and Gunston for the Hawks. Margin sits at 14. Each goal going to be very precious if this trend continues. That ruck battle, they'll be exhausted by the end of the night. Westwake piles on. Another opportunity tonight on Soligo.
Riley, straight back.
Ash continues the watch on Rankin for now. Newcomb has Dawson. Kurt takes 55 metres almost with that kick. Barris in battle, get it out of bounds, but nothing more than that.
Been
And
guilty
I
of
like the
this.
slight change. Sorry, Chief. I like the slight change by Sam Mitchell and the coaching staff just to hold more forwards forward to the football. We saw in that first quarter, as Jack Rewalt mentioned, about getting up the ground and then having nowhere to kick, particularly under pressure. But they've got strong forward representation and they're getting better possession off the back of that.
Thank you, Dale. Strong representation in the crowd as well, the Hawks. Does feel like a slightly more even contest. Newcomb out of there to the wing. Ramsden hasn't had a bad quarter, actually. Got involved a few times. And that wonky shot for goal in the opening term. Kicks down the line. Joel in front. The kick carries over his head. Laird and Worrell running away from goal. So is Saligo. Now they can turn it back the other way. Miller's kick designed for Pedler. Hits the mark at half back. Ignored the one short. Had slightly grander plans. It involved Phil Thorpe. He takes it, turns and delivers for Fogarty. And the Hawks just caught out there.
He's a good kick of the footy, Darcy Fogarty. He'll go back and give himself every opportunity to kick this. Big Riley Philthorpe's causing all sorts of problems for Tom Barris. He doesn't know whether to play him from in front, from behind. He's a little bit out of position a couple of times.
Kick 3 here in 2023, including that clutch last goal. And he was the hero. And he's dragged this one across. Keys kept it alive. O'Brien snaps and all that work.
If they didn't rush that, it's really poor defence. I think we're going to have a score review to see if it did cross the behind line.
Priceless reactions in that.
Riley O'Brien's over went over the line.
Yes. Did they keep it alive?
Umpire's call is no score. Please check that it wasn't across the line. Thank you.
Review underway.
Got your X-ray vision going.
There's 3 Hawks defenders there and they're not able to force it through. That's the disappointing thing, and they leave Riley O'Brien there to get a shot for goal. Would have been inexcusable defence had he kicked the goal.
Review complete. Looking at these angles, there is insufficient evidence to determine if the ball crosses the back of the behind line or not. Decision on the scoreboard.
You need a different layer of technology, don't you? To track balls and lines and that sort of thing if you actually want an answer.
Keep reiterating your point, Jared. We'll get there eventually.
Does this come up on coach's night?
Needed to see it from the other side, didn't we?
Darcy Fogarty would be...
Help us, Greg Swan, you're our only hope.
Darcy Fogarty, he hasn't started yet, he told me the other night. Darcy, so just go easy on the list. Darcy Fogarty will be happy with that. So he's got 28 goals, 6 for the season rather than 28 goals, 7. As the ball's bashed back in again to Moore.
Oh, tricky little hand pass, Butler down the line. Not initially trapped, so an open play ball. Keane, Chol wore him close. Did he drop it? Crowd thought yes, umpire thought no. Hustwaite takes territory. Dawson is motoring back after it. He'll have enough protection to gather, have a look, work out how to spend it. Short across the face of goal. Keys covering every blade of grass as well. Miller up. Back to the near side with some risk. D'Ambrosio had it well scouted. Can he get back to it? No buts thwarts the efforts.
I know he's on the bench at the moment, but I think this is a chance for Nick Watson to play full forward, nearly out of the goal square. Just have him one-on-one inside 50, and then the ball hits the ground like that. Let him go to work. We know that he can play full forward, so put him down there and give him the 50.
These have been hard weeks for him, haven't they? And he's been there and then he'll find a way to get him into the game. Pedler squeezes his kick forward. Fogarty made it good.
And 50.
Yeah.
Outside protected area.
Bit of deja vu here.
It's going to be around that same mark.
Fogarty plays it out for Worrell. It's changed the angle of attack. Miller up. A lot of numbers scramble. Dawson was the shallow lead you saw. It's going to be a deeper kick than that. To the milling pack. Off hands, Rochelle threatens at the back, kept away from him. Amon, Hardwick dispossessed. Walker, sneaky, not online.
It was a good spot to kick the ball to, because too deep in these conditions will either spill over the back and the Hawthorn defence can rush it. But there you get sort of a 360 opportunity to actually crumb the ball. You get the first one at the front. You see the kick out here. They had Josh Weddle on the go, but you also get the one out the back too.
Mitchell, as they do, plot a path, although it's a hard path to read. Curtin decides to keep it in. Fogarty has the strength. Brute as it was against Ward. To half-forward Keys taken down. So Hardwick had a clear path just to blast it out. Weddle jumped early. And Curtin juggled impressively.
So they're winning all the one-on-one contests, aren't they? That they need to win, particularly in the air, the Crows.
One at the lead of Pedler. Impey Thorn at his side. Ward's hand to Hustwaite and back to Impey again. Directed Child where he wanted him to move, but Butts also saw the signal.
Yep, another one-on-one. That's just been repeated behaviour tonight from the Crows. They win the aerial battle.
Back from Wentz, down the line, Phil Thorpe, Ramsden, Ward, Butler. Pair off again, and Butts.
That's inexcusable from RB or Chol. He's dropped his head a couple of times, but you've got to be more desperate to bring that to ground. You just can't keep having contested chest marks taken next to you.
I think Sam Mitchell would be pulling his hair out at the moment.
Worrell's had plenty of it. Come down the line, Dawson was held.
Well, they finally take a mark towards him. It's a free kick.
Twitchy around him. Such a good contested mark from midfielder. Tex is going to get one as well.
Just worrying in the airways. It's just a complete dominance in the air at the moment.
And they're feeling the pressure, Jack, every time there's a one-on-one contest. There's Battle. He puts the arms around him. You could argue they're both pushing and shoving, but once you put the arms around, I think the umpire sees that as a cue, and you can't complain when they pay a free kick.
There've been meagre times around goal. These past 5 for Tex. 1-0-1-1-1. To get himself on the board and grow this Adelaide lead. Walker. It was near side all the way.
The game's crying out for someone to take some of these opportunities, just to have a scoreboard impact. I mean, Adelaide are controlling the game. They should be a lot more than 16 points in front. The Hawks have had a couple of chances against the run of play. They haven't been able to capitalise on those either. But there's some serious scoreboard impact to be had if someone can just straighten up in front of goal.
You're referencing the big forwards, Hutto. 2 behind Walker, 2 behind Stilthorpe, 1 behind Fogarty.
Well, they're getting their shots, aren't they? But not converting. All of them generally very accurate. More. Can the Hawks penetrate here? Ramsden the target, at least got hands to it. Child just cruising along the wing, snapping a left football. Saligo begins the pursuit. Keane probably knew quite cleverly not to take possession and draws the free.
It's just a little bit too quick for Jack Gunston. He took front position away and Gunston couldn't get there to compete.
Half forward, Moore got set. Hardwick flicked it to him, knew exactly where each other were. Now Hustwaite to Child, has to at least break even. He does that. Watson slips over, so it's Worrell's handball out. It's awkward for anyone who picks it up though, and Hinge coughed it up. Watson delivered to the chest of Gunston, who's always been superb with his timing.
Isn't it incredible lead? And this is Ford Craft 101 to come to the back position, and then as soon as Watson looked up, he was there, and it all came off pressure, and we haven't seen enough of that from Hawthorn now. There's a lay-down Mazzee, these ones. It's the ones that key forwards love to get.
Oh, he thought about passing off
isn't
too. You've just got to kick this goal. It's critical.
Everyone's a bit jumpy. Gunston is their only goal kicker so far. 27 for the year. 7 score involvements a game. Where would they be without Jack Gunston? Well, they have him, and somehow they're in it.
I have no idea. idea why he's thinking about passing that off, Jack. They've been so hard to come by goals. That's his craft. That's his job to kick those goals. He gets the beautiful little hit-up lead. And sometimes you're right, when you do start behind, the difficulty thing for a defender, and you can watch him here, is the defender's checking. I'm watching the ball. Where's my opponent? I've got to look back. And as he looks back to find him, he goes up at the ball. So difficult as a defender in that scenario.
It's a small micro sleep there from Keane. You just can't, as a defender, you cannot give up your back inside forward 50 like that. Up the ground, it's okay because you can push up. You might have support behind you, but as soon as he looks away, Gunston's crafty. He goes behind him, and Keane has a look one way and then ducks out the other way, and then all of a sudden Keane looks back. Gunston's already made his move. It's like driving a car. You're playing the blind spot of the defender.
A little banner nap he had.
A little micro sleep.
10 points. The Crows have done so much right. They don't have as much to show for as they might. Rochelle got it going Keys way and back to him. Rochelle up to full forward. Fogarty comes out, made the contest. Tech stayed front and centre. Fogarty tried, just overran it. Battles got him. He won initially. Morrison and Mitchell to clear the area. That is going to come straight back.
And Sam Berry continues to do a superb job on John Newcomb. John Newcomb just had the 4 disposals to this point, 2 kicks and 2 handballs, yet to have a real effect on this game.
Yeah, and he's the one that can win clearances for the Hawks. That's their trouble. They're losing the centre bounce clearances 6-1 and 18-9 all over around the ground. So real problems at the stoppage.
They're rugged up in Lonnie. Rankin that looks to create some magic. Inboard Pedler, just the wrong side of the line.
And that's their problem, Jay. You said before you'd love to see him invest more in clearances. It's manpower. They haven't got the personnel to win the clearances.
Warple out this week, of course. Day still 6-8 away. And don't they miss them on a night like tonight?
The setup, a lot of movement around the front. Berry and Newcomb's an enthralling duel. Fogarty pushed hard against Morrison. Kick went nowhere. Newcomb, Meek, that was a sharp ball to deal with. Rankin, Neil Bullen might have just disrupted him for a moment. They paddled it round. Meek got swallowed up.
Another quality tackle. Gee, the quality of their tackling has been impressive.
What will Pedler do with this? Can you find a target in that, or give them a jump at the top of the square? O'Brien and Tex with a 2-up. Threatening underneath Murphy. Keys!
Goal.
He's got it through the Keys hole! Second week in a row!
There's been a number of times where they've had ample opportunity, the Hawks. Plenty of numbers back. You think they're in a good position to rush the ball through, but they're just not taking care of business. And this guy continues to hit the scoreboard. Love what he does each and every week. He just gives absolutely everything, and he finds a way here to get the boot in. Plenty of numbers for the Hawks. They've got good defensive structure. They've got numbers on the defensive side. They all run past the footy.
Yeah, Tom Barras, he just needed to put this into a different spot. This has got to go either through the goals. You just sat it up. There's opportunity there. And on a night like tonight, this has to be Adelaide's ability to score. Put it into chaos, and you know you've got Keys, you've got Rankin, you've got Rochelle down there. They've got the ability to do that.
They have 4 players on the goal line there, the Hawks, and no one. They all ran past the footy to guard the goal line, and no one stopped the ball.
See Rochelle in the middle now, so Rankin playing forward.
Amazing form he's in. He has 2 goals tonight, and they are difficult to find. Berry out of the middle, pulls it away to Soligo. And now Rochelle having some time on ball. Probing ball this time. Barras was able to be firm enough and get the better of Tex Walker.
They needed that just to release the pressure. It's getting critical in the middle of the ground at these centre bounces.
Wobbles a left footer out to the wing. Awkward for Morrison. Hinge. A little channel opens up. Murphy. BW back to Morrison. Soligo, they'll come again. Of Cummings boot into the pocket. And it bounces nicely for Adelaide, and they can set up for another forward stoppage. Little shake to the head from Sam Mitchell.
Well, the difficulty is he's sitting there wondering, what can I do at stoppages? You can bring an extra up and maybe have an extra number, but they just don't have natural clearance winning midfielders. A couple of their best ones are out.
Those coming in, winning 5 of the last 6 games, and they've taken that to Launceston because they have highly skilled players, forever dangerous. Oh, almost from Rankin. deny. But the bad news is for Hawthorn is that Hinge has taken the mark and it's coming back in again.
He's got a leg too that could go close from here if he wanted to. And he'll arc out to the left a little bit if he wants to, but he's not going to.
Oh, he's set it up. If he couldn't quite hang on, sliding in, Neil Bullen.
Carl Amon got let off there. He had a nap too.
Maybe it's someone like a Blake Hardwick to send into a good contest player, not a traditional midfielder.
Yep. They might have to invent something here. You're right, Jack.
Because at the moment they're just getting bullied around the ball, and then there's no composure when kicking the ball out of deep 50.
So across the face of goal comes Amon. It's not his best kick on the way out. Who arrives first? Crows from various points of the compass. Keane slid it back inside. Cut off though by Weddle. Links it up to Impey. And pass for Butler. Slipped over and it cost him. Curtin dispossessed. Weddle against the grain. Neil Bullen still a chance. Run down by Butler. Nash. D'Ambrosio. One way or another, the Hawks get it forward, but it's to an outnumber again. Oh, that bounced up and hit Worrell in the mush.
And that is the best possible result they could have hoped for there. A little bit of overuse of handball in the greasy conditions. They're making mistakes. Life is difficult, but at least they now get a chance to set up behind the ball and a stoppage at half forward.
It's a night for beanie and scarves and parkers and puffers and hoodies.
It's boardies and thongs, Jared.
Roof, anyone? O'Brien to the front. More track that worked over by Rochelle. In the back.
Just did everything right, and then at the last second fell in the back of Dylan Moore.
Who can send it? Joel comes out. Oh, got a fair piece of it, not enough.
He had a good look at it, Marbiel. Had a really good look at that one. It was a great kick from Moore. Just double grabbed it and allowed the spoil to come in.
He dropped it already, hadn't he, before Worrell came in. Clearing kick, placed with danger by Saligo, and Impey didn't have to move. Ramsden at the top of the square. Giving the Crows time to get back extra reinforcement. So he invites someone to run and jump. Morrison suddenly realised, but he's interfered there with Cumming.
Just even that kick there, look, it's so far across the side of the ground that you've got one chance maybe for a player to crumb.
And now they leave themselves open to the counter-attack.
They spread quickly. A bit awkward for Mike Delaney. Gets himself upright and then just kicks down the line. Hawks have the extra. It clears everyone.
And that's the difference in terms of Adelaide have been able to intercept that exact kick that we see there. Jordan Dawson, not a key forward, but he brings that ball to ground and gives a chance for Adelaide to reset again. So Sam Mitchell's got plenty of things that he's looking at, needs to fix. The break can't come quick enough for Hawthorn.
Hawks troubleshooting in the box. Margin is 16. O'Brien over the top with the tap and then the follow-up on hands and knees. Saligo, he doesn't mind a tough like this. Takes it back over the line. Career high 13 tackles last week, Jake Saligo. Breakout year last year and following on. Nick very wary of O'Brien, but he still managed to get it 20 metres Hawthorn's way. Make it 25 now. Stand up between Berry and Newcomb. Keane with a tackle on Ramsden.
So if you look at the Hawks' main midfielders at the moment, you've got Nash with 3 possessions, Newcomb with 5 possessions, and Ward with 7 possessions. They've just got no one in the middle of the ground that can actually get their hands on the footy. They need to make some changes. They throw a different mix in there.
Interesting, they didn't bring McKenzie back into the team, did they?
No, well, they gave Hustwaite an opportunity, and what's he had? He's on the bench at the moment. He's had 4 possessions.
Mead got it around to Ward. Squeezed a kick to half forward. Michael Annie had first access, didn't mark. Worrell didn't deal with it either. Moore turns tackler. So Newcomb, the diligence that Berry's applying, he had 26 and 22 and 2 goals in their 2 meetings last year and polled those 2 Brownlow votes on each occasion. So Matthew Nicks well knew the threat and they have thus far nullified it. Nash has a go. Ward out the front. Who will he find up forward? He went for Chol, who pushed, didn't have good position.
And again, it wasn't a kick to advantage, but he's got to find a way, Marby or Chol, to make that a 50-50 contest and not give away the free kick.
But disposal's not a big part of his game. And into the pocket, Michaelani. Inside the final minute of the half. Got knocked off it, big turnover coming. Watson creates, just missed more. Saligo got to him. Gunston for his third. No.
Well, an attitude thing sometimes key forward. Maybe I'm still stuck in it at the moment that I think it's mark or nothing. And tonight is not the night to come in with that sort of game plan. You must half the contest.
But he went late with pressure there, and that caused the turnover.
30 seconds, Curtin again in the air. Been so impressive.
Been one of their best.
Down the line to Walker. Just tucks it under the arm for a moment. He's happy enough to play it back. 15 seconds. Will they have one last flourish? Michaelani to half forward. Rochelle at the back. Unrequired because Dawson has ripped it. Doesn't use the stand rule. Rochelle kept on going. And there might be a regret or two from the captain about that. He was probably within range.
Oh, I think the regret comes from us. I was thinking Jordan Dawson, big torpedo. Friday night lights at Launceston. A bit too unselfish.
Sam Mitchell has spent a lot of time with his head down and we're looking at computers or writing his notes for half-time before we head to our experts. Jason and Jack, quick thought.
If he's written some notes, it'll be an essay, Hutto. It'll be a tome that he has actually written. They're lucky to be within 15 points. This is a game that Adelaide's controlling.
Yeah, inside 50s, 37-19. I couldn't say it any better, Jace. They are so lucky it is only 15 points because Adelaide have dominated this first half.
It means we still have a game, Gary Lyon.
Yes, indeed you have, Hutto. Welcome to Friday Night Footy on Fox. It's brought to you by Industry Super Funds. When it comes to super, there is only one symbol to look for, and it's staggering that it is a 15-point margin because every other indicator suggests that the Adelaide Crows have absolutely belted Hawthorn in that first half.
Yeah, they were very impressed. Should be further in front, Gaz. As said, they'd be happy the way the game's been set up. Because of the conditions, it's going to probably stay closer than usual, you would have thought, because it is slippery. It's a little bit slippery on foot and it's slippery by hands as well, so it's going to be hard to put on a big score, but you've got to take your chance in front of goal.
Before Ben Keys kicked that goal out of the goal square, Hawthorn kicked 2-1 in that quarter, even though Adelaide looked like they dominated field position. As we'll talk about, they've dominated the air and the contest, and yet... Yeah, and Hawthorn have just been able to hang around due to the low scoring.
They've only been inside 50, 17, 18 times Hawthorn. So anyway, let's go to the Harvey Norman highlights. I think this is, and Jared mentioned it right at the end there, we've been keeping an eye on this the first half. I've not seen Jai Newcomb rendered as useless as this in half a footy.
Yeah, he's critical last week. Best on ground
last week. 3 handballs. Sam Berry's gone to him and put the clamp on him. Berry's done some fantastic work around clearance as well. But Jai Newcomb on a night where they needed one, he was Vincent clearance at the end and just has had no impact.
Yeah, it was a big one. Buck said it. Spoke about Hawthorn's clearances, and they've been up and down this year, no question about it. Sam Berry's a good matchup for him, Bucks, because he's strong. Similar build to Jai Newcomb, so Jai's not as quick, but you need a physical guy to push up against him.
He's only had the 9 disposals of his own, but his role is clearly in and around clearance to be a bigger body and get your hands on the ball, but also have awareness for Jai Newcomb. So Newcomb's just had the 5.
One clearance, Jai Newcomb.
And looking at the way the game is played, that's crucial. The contest on the ground, and it's a slippery night, so we're looking at that. But the contest in the air as well. Like Adelaide have bigger bodies, and you can see in the Chol Butts match up, and we can see it all over the ground that Adelaide just look like they're stronger.
So the transition numbers were horrible from a Hawthorn point of view, particularly early. They couldn't get it out of their own way. From an Adelaide point of view, they were able to get some movement.
Oh, it's pretty impressive, guys. And this, so one, we'll speak about transition here too, but also the aerial dominance from the Crows across the board, and that includes from free kicks and aerial contested marks in 9-3. They were 6 zip at quarter time, Bucks. So they were able to move it easily from one end of the ground to the other.
So the Butts mark there was one of 4 that he won directly against Chol in that quarter. Dawson gets a free kick, which is seen as a contested possession for the Crows. And then this one here, Walker on Battle, that's a free kick against, which is another contested possession for Adelaide. So 3 contested wins in a row that takes them from end to end. Their transition numbers are through the roof. They've gone at 41%. So every 10 exits from their D50, they've been going inside their forward 54 times. And that post-clearance contested possession, it's anything outside the clearance. So on the ground, free kicks 4, and then contested marking, which they've been dominant.
And just to give you a marker too, Hawthorn, are 11% compared to that 41%.
Horrendous.
Yeah.
And maybe a child, if he doesn't get taken into the room and just read the riot act, it's like Wayne Carey last week. He's been non-competitive, Brownie. Take him into the room, give him some home truths, wind him up and send him out again.
Yeah, he's not on his own.
No, he's not on his own, but he's a key forward, Bucks, and that's not good enough. I love this chase from Worrell. This is one of the few competitive things. What about Big Max Ramsden here? So the chase is extraordinary, right? The Worrell's chase down on Nick Watson is one of the highlights.
Take him into the room as well, Gavin.
I'd grab Ramsden by the ear and say, you're next. Just sit there and wait. That big body has to take Worrell out of this contest. You must take him out. The shepherd is a dying art. What are you thinking? You're going to get a handball received, Big Ramsden? Yeah. Get your big body in there, knock him on his backside, and Hawthorn will kick their second goal of the game. Not good enough. Take him in the room too.
And on the flip side, great by Worrell to not give in and get the whole way there. But have a look at those numbers. I mean, obviously, as we said, they're ahead on the free kick count, Adelaide, and so they should be, because they've tackled well and they've earned free kicks there. They've got their body in the right position, and Hawthorn have either had to hold or scrag to try and get in front of them, and they've owned field position as a result. And we focused on this pressure rating before the game.
That's closed up a bit.
Well, it did, yeah. So Hawthorn came to play a little bit towards the end of that second quarter, but they were down high 150s again, which is what we saw against Brisbane and Collingwood.
Especially in the first quarter, didn't they get their numbers up, Adelaide? It was the old school press, the forward half press, wasn't it? So they had 17 forward half intercepts in that first half, but they had a lot of numbers up high up the ground.
One thing I did notice, you come out of quarter time when you've got low pressure numbers, and Sam Mitchell was obviously asking for a bit of a ramp up, but in the first minute of the second quarter, you'd expect a result, a lift. But this one here, opportunity to tackle Murphy there. Should have got him on the first one, didn't get him. It's a leg free kick, and Adelaide go end to end here, ends up in the Keys goal on the right foot. Then you've got another opportunity moments after. So Keys works Impey under the ball there, finishes. Probably lucky to kick that with Phil Thorpe in the goal square. But then the very next centre bounce, the Adelaide Crows get an opportunity to tackle here, and O'Brien's got Nash, finishes the tackle. So that's the difference between that's a rating of 3 points for your pressure. That's why Adelaide's points are up. The other one, free kick against, that's 0. You don't get anything for your pressure and for an ineffective tackle. So the numbers go up and down according to how effective you are with the skill itself. And Adelaide have been far better, not just in tackling, but all over the ground.
Great point. Now for industry super funds, what are you looking forward to in this second half?
I get that group, Gary. I'm taking them into the room. I'm giving them a plate of bacon and then say, harden up, boys. Have a feed and get your nose into the trough and just start winning, because absolutely, bacon will do that. A bit of old school stuff. Ward, I think he's had 8 touches. Newcombe, you spoke about, has had 5. Yep. Nash has had 3 touches. He was supposed to be doing a tagging job as well. Maybe McDonald needs to get in there and get a lift as well. He hasn't touched the ball much as well. So they've all struggled, guys. They've got to lift. They've got to start winning some clearances and get some territory.
And Adelaide have been great. They only lead by 15 points. So game's still on here.
Maybe a tomahawk.
Don't forget, if you're a fan of Formula One, we head to Canada. Oscar Piastri looking to claim win number 6 of the Formula One season. Coverage begins 2:30 Monday morning, every practice and race live and ad break free in 4K Ultra HD on Fox Sports 506.
For Piastri, the time is now.
Oh, how good's Piastri going, by the way, folks? How good is Piastri going in the F1, leading the championship, the little Aussie? Go, boy, go. You can keep doing it. I tell you what, he is, he's got to be the best F1 driver Australia has produced. There's no doubt about that. Getting off subject, going over to the Formula One races, he is fantastic. Oscar Piastri, fantastic. 4-7-31, the Crows, 2-4-16, the Hawks. I tell you what, it's a low-scoring game here, and it's something certainly none of us expected out here. We thought this was going to be high-scoring game, free-flowing, high-scoring, but it's just not to be the case. Oh, look, I don't think we can say anything about the weather conditions preventing this. I think, I don't know, it's a bit of a scrappy, it's a little bit of a, it's a bit of a let-me-down type of game, this one. Let's open the second half. This opens up a little bit. The one thing I was seeing the Hawks do, they were flooding back in Adelaide's forward, so it was really tough for Adelaide to get any real decent ball in there. and the ball is just coming back out. So that was probably pretty good for the Hawks. But yeah, as I was saying, 15 points. I don't know how the Hawks are within 15 points. Adelaide just letting them off the hook. 4 goals, 7. Of course, Hawthorn have only got the 1 goal scorer. I don't know. Even Vossi would be scratching his head thinking, what's going on? It's like going to a game in Diamond Valley League. I tell you what, if we were in the Diamond Valley League watching a footy, it'd be higher scoring than it is tonight. Only 3 serious contenders this year. Absolutely. If we have a little bit of a look at the live ladder, there we go. Adelaide Crows, if they end up winning, they will be second on the ladder, a game behind the mighty Magpies. Hawthorn down there in 6th position and a real chance to drop out of the top 8. There we go. That's what Hawthorn have got to play for, and yet I'm not really seeing the hunger, the pressure of a team that really want to fight for their ride. Fight for their ride for freedom. Well, for the top 8 anyway. My gullo. Oh, let's go and have a look at the goal scorers. Half time. For the Adelaide, actually, let's run through all the Hawthorn goal scorers. This will only take a second. Jack Gunston, 2 goals. There we go. I told you it'd only take a second. For Adelaide Crows, this will only take 3 seconds. Ben Keys, multiple there with 2. Daniel Curtin, Isaac Cumming with 1. 1, 2, 3. 4 goal scorers out on the ground. Now, there's a stat. There is a stat that we should have a look at and see whether that can be beat this week. My gosh, I hope not. I want the goals to be free-flowing throughout the week. Jarman Impey there. There we go. Jarman Impey for the Hawks lead the way with 16, 10 and 6, 1 clearance, 7 marks, grabbing the ball well. Jordan Dawson, 15 there for the Crows. Weddle and Hardwick, 13 for the 2 lads there for the Hawks. Worrell Sligo, both on 12. Let's keep rolling down. Ranky on 10. Dylan Moore, he's quiet, isn't he? I know he's had 10, but he hasn't really done much also. Taylor Walker putting his body in there as well, just the 2 behinds. Come on, Tex, we know you can do better than that from his 9 possessions. Rochelle also a little quiet with 9. I don't know what's going on with some of the players tonight. It's just not falling into place. Even Riley Thilthorpe, the other big man down there, just a 7, 4 kicks, 2 behinds. Maybe this is saying, oh, look at that. Even Darcy Fogarty, 6 kicks, 1 behind. Maybe we're in for a good second half. What do you reckon? Tell you what, it couldn't be any lower than the opening half. We should stop having a crack. There we go, Jack Gunston. The only one for the Hawks looking lively down there in the forward line. He had 3 kicks, 3 shots on goal. He's kicked 2 goals, 1. Nearly made it 3 with his beautiful snap around the body, but it just kept turning and turning and turning, fading left of the goalpost through for 8 behind. Of course, Jack Ginnivan, well, I don't know. I tell you what, he hasn't put the crowd to sleep. I think Jack Ginnivan's actually still asleep on the bus. Get off the bus, Ginnivan. Get off the bus. Come on, boy. My gosh, there we go. Even Nick Watson is up there. He's had 5 touches. There we go. Let's have a look at the team stats. It's plus 22 total disposals to the Crows. 22 kicks. Handballs similar. Inside 50s. Holy Toledo Batman. Look, it's an interesting stat on both. 19 inside 50s for the Hawks, 6 scoring shots. The Hawks just aren't getting it in there. 37 insides for the Crows, 11 scoring shots, but the Crows just aren't doing it when they get it in there. Oh my gosh, what's going on? What is going on, Sarge? Tassie's team will be the biggest blight on the AFL since the Suns. It could be. Could be. You just never know. Although, you know what? It's good to have Tasmania in the AFL, I think. I think it's good to have Tassie in there. There we go. Disposal efficiency. Have a look at that. That's pretty deplorable from both sides. 63, 66. 31 efficiency inside 50 for the Hawks. 43 The Crows, holy Toledo. Free kicks. Well, the free kicks haven't been looked at. Free kicks haven't been too bad. I think the umpires have been umpiring this game reasonably well. I haven't seen too much that was to the disliking or to think one way or the other. 8-17. Hawks only 8. 17 plus 9 to the Crows. The hit outs. Well, the Crows, the stoppages. The Crows, of course, in front, plus 6 in the hit-outs, plus 7 clearances. Centre clearances, I don't know what's happened to the Hawks midfield there. One centre clearance up until half-time. Come on. 7 to the Crows. Stoppage clearance is pretty tight there. 13-14. Crows plus 1 again. Contested. Surprising. The Hawks, well, Adelaide just want it more. They're plus 20 in contested possessions, 33% more. They're really got to get a grip and come out with some fire in your belly, some fight. Put a bit of pressure. Show the footy community, show your fans that you're a top 8 contender. My gosh, come on. Uncontested, pretty similar. Turnovers, it's a really high turnover game, this one, as I said. Got a bit scrappy in that second term, 42-41. Wow. The marks 35-47. Adelaide plus 12. Marks inside 50. As I was saying, even with the 19 inside 50s, they've only hit a couple of marks, and I think they were Gunston. And for the, 37 or so inside 50s for Adelaide. 3 marks inside 50. Come on, boys. You just need a bit of composure. Your forwards need to work for yourself. Drag a few of the opposition players out. Give your forwards a little bit of space. Yeah. Hawks 2 look actually a lot better than the Crows 3, considering the times they've been in there. Contested marks, Crows stronger in the air. Maybe because they're definitely taller players, I think. That's what it looks like anyway. Tackles, 32. I don't know what they're tackling. 29 Adelaide. There we go. Just doesn't seem that way to me, but just by the eye. Tackles inside forward 50. The Crows doing better with 10. I suppose through the discrepancy of the inside 50s for tackles there. There we go. Hey, we're only 3 minutes away, folks. We are 3 minutes away. Addy G flag mantle will show greatness tomorrow night by beating the Hearing all these stats make me want to turn it off. No, I tell you what, we need to keep this on because we're going to, you know what? It's going to be a better second half. It's going to be a better second half by beating the worst team in it. I tell you what, there we go. Oh, there we go. Addy G, Fremantle is 9th on the ladder. If Fremantle have a big win, they'll go above Hawthorn. Can you believe it? They'll go above Hawthorn if Hawthorn don't win tonight. Only 3.6% separating Fremantle and Hawthorn. There we go. Don't forget, games tomorrow coming up. Brisbane Lions versus the GWS Giants. I think I won't be here for that one. I think I've got to head on into the city in the morning. I'll be back in the afternoon. Hopefully I'll be back for the Essendon Geelong game at 4:15 p.m. And then, of course, tomorrow night, North Melbourne versus Fremantle over there at Optus Stadium, where we're expecting North Melbourne to have a big victory over Fremantle. Should be a fascinating game just there for Addy G. Adrian, are you going to that football game tomorrow? Will you be at the match tomorrow? That'll be an interesting game. That's a game that Fremantle, if Fremantle play their best football, they should win that pretty comfortably. And you would expect so, especially their away game is being played at home. There we go. Port Adelaide, Melbourne, Sunday, West Coast, Carlton rounding out the round Sunday evening. But we've got some good games coming up tomorrow. As I said, I probably won't get the first one done, Brisbane GWS, unfortunately, because I would have loved to have watched that one. And you know what? I would like to see the Giants actually win that game against Brisbane. Although, Addy G, you'll be hoping for Brisbane to win. Because I'm not sure whether you'll surpass Brisbane this season, but you certainly can jump up in there. Tell you what, it's going to be real tough to get out of these top 4 positions for these teams, but it will be fascinating second half of the year. Bob Bell, how you doing? Welcome in. Welcome in. You should leave the mic on and call this quarter. No, I can't. I don't call it as good as the commentators. They are fantastic. I'm going good, Bob. How you doing? Good to see you in here. Hey, good timing, because we're about to go down to the ground for the second half here, where the Adelaide Crows have been on top pretty much all of this game, but can you believe it? It's only 15 points in it, which is extremely flattering to the Hawks. Anything can happen in this game. 15 points. Maybe the Hawks will get a little bit of a run on. We'll wait and see, but it should be an interesting second half. Let's head back down to the action. It's the Crows by 15.
He's gone into defence. Just have to wait a little longer in the middle. Gunston, the lone goal kicker.
Instruction.
There he's taken care of Newcomb. That's gone on to Keys. And we're set now. Third quarter. First ever Friday night game in Launceston. Has been dominated by the Adelaide Crows, but the game is very much alive as O'Brien split it in the middle. And Nash gets first look at it. So the Hawks forward. Gunston threatens. Hinge didn't take it. McDonald does and connects. Converts. And the Hawks take less than 30 seconds to get their fans on their feet and to start clenching their fists, because the margin is back under 10 points.
Look, we don't want to sound like a broken record, but it's inside 30 seconds. It's also a centre-bounce clearance, something they'd been devoid of. It was 7-1 in the first half. Centre-bounce clearances against. This time it's Connor Nash. He gets it in there quick, even numbers, front and square crumb from McDonald, and he's able to snap truly. So a little bit of life for the Hawks, but is it going to be a one-off, or can they start to get their share of clearances, not just in the centre-bounce, but around the ground?
Spin the magnets, change your fortunes.
It's just a different look, I think, and it's, I mean, once like the ball comes to the right spot, there's obviously the opportunity, but just a different look, and it challenges Adelaide and Matthew Nixon, the coach's box.
Ruckman both reached it, so it was allowed to go on. Newcomb gets himself a clearance, which has been rare tonight. Keen out, body lines it, then just hacks it clear. Took the territory that was on offer. Rochelle presented, Hardwick kept it away from it. Dropped the footy in the tackle of Neil Bullen.
Yeah, he's been very quiet, Alex Neil Bullen, but one thing he will do is he'll continue to work hard. Just the 3 possessions in the first half, but that's a great tackle. Hardwick about to turn defence into attack.
That is a pack at the 50. Thilthorpe had eyes for it. Keys tackled by Jav. Good first involvement. Nick Calzado, who did he replace?
It's Henry Huswaite, who has made way for CJ, as you just saw. He's had his first impact on the game, a fantastic tackle. So Huswaite is a tactical sub at halftime.
Jav pumps it up the line. Spoil Worrell, ground ball. Neil Bullen had a devil of a time. McDonald knocked off his kick, played in close confines. Moore squeezed it out. Butts and Scholl. Scholl might prevail as he kept his footing. On he goes. The soccer skills go all the way, Barbior. No, edged at the last. Dawson hand passes for the boundary.
It's appealing for the penalty, Marbiot. Scholl, the last line of defence there, but good. Fantastic work in defence there by the Adelaide captain just to get back. Needed to be there because Marbiot Cho was on a foot race.
And suddenly the Adelaide defence is on red alert. Ruck split it, Nash. And on sliding the curtain.
Thanks, Connor.
I reckon McDonald's the other one you could throw through the midfield. So maybe it's Watson, McDonald just rolling through there, gives them a different look, gives them speed.
His confidence boosted by kicking a goal, McDonald. Set up again. Where's the danger lurk? Just flipping it out. Oh, crashed into his own teammate. Dawson just tippy-toes over. And he's going to pay the penalty for it.
Well, all he had to do was kick the ball, Jordan Dawson. Go a metre over the boundary line and kick the ball back into the field of play, and you're okay. But because you pull up, you give the umpire the opportunity to ping you. You should never get pinged for deliberate like that.
11 goals, 11 from 28 shots, Dylan Moore. Hasn't quite been the force this year as he was last. And Ryan Hawk All Australia just noticed the outside of the post as Laird comes off for some attention. Hawks doing all the attacking.
Well, finally, a little bit of territory for the Hawks. Gives them a chance to try and lock it in.
Him setting the task. Away. The left shoulder, a concern for Rory Laird. Brody Smith is the sub for the Crows. So it would be like for like if it went that way. Hawthorn attacking at the start of the second half. Berry. Curtin hit by Moore. Meek did well. Pop over the top. Newcomb out in front of the path of McDonald. Dragged off it. Worrell has to get the kick away in a hurry. And he shaped that well. Murphy should have done better. Weddle and Jaff combine. Murphy did do better. Made the smother. Kept himself in it. Neil Bullen takes a bit of territory. Set Rochelle off on the chase. He'll arrive and tow it on. And the follow-up. He's shown us the through ball. That was the cross. Weddle was awake to it, though. Bangs it back to midfield where they set up. Rankin cleared the way, left the footy behind. Moore got it from McDonald's. Low down, well done, Gunston. The deep target is Joel. That's where it goes. He's got a one-on-one. He's got position. He's got the ball.
I was critical of him a couple of times in the first half. Didn't look like he wanted to fight for that contest. But when he does, you can see the impact that he can have. He would have got the free kick if he didn't take the mark. He stood up tall. He fought for position. He kept his eyes on the footy. And he did so well. This is what they need to demand from him every time they kick to him.
He was tremendous last week. 9 coaches' votes in a 4-goal turn. This game is turning. Mabior Chol to make it 2 points. The complexion in Launceston has changed entirely.
I nearly reckon with Mabior Chol, you can just pick the intensity by the first 2 movements in whether the ball's on the ground or whether it's in the air. And here it gets aggressive in the marking contest. And this ball out of the middle there, it's an opportunity, and contest is how Hawthorn have got themselves back into here. Jack Gunston as well gets involved on the lead, but Mabior Chol puts in a couple of hard ones here, and his first contact here, just that there, puts his hands on the chest of butts and makes sure that this is a bench press off now. So he's dynamic around the ball, finds the body, potentially gets the free kick, but fights hard for front position and takes a really good mark. It falls in his lap a little bit. He's still got to catch and hold out for that there. And the other thing is, Hawthorn have representation at the front of that contest. There's a big boy mark from Mabior Chol.
And the contest has changed both visually and in the numbers. Huge turnaround in contested possession. Adelaide win this one and win it cleanly through the ruckman. Inside 50, Hawks on guard, Barris the spoil, D'Ambrosio the follow. Hardwick, and they tow it over. So in the first half, plus 20 was the contested possessions. The 4th best from Adelaide in a half in 5 years. And now in the second half, it has changed completely. It's plus 9 in Hawthorn's favour.
Yeah, it is. And McDonald's had 4 of those. So he's one that's really lit Hawthorn up in this third quarter, half forward. He's another one they can roll through with a bit of speed on ball.
Adelaide's response has to come swiftly. The lead has been cut to 2. Rankin, Moore, Amon and Butler. That's how you walk out of bounds without giving away the free.
So Watson's ahead of the ball now. Looks like Sam Butler's the one to come up and play as that sort of quick player through the midfield. See the injury there to Rory Laird.
It didn't look like much, did it?
It might be a stinger.
Smith replaced him in the team when he was rested a couple of weeks ago, so he's the ideal replacement if needed. Saliga, little gap, he saw it. Jabbed it towards Thilthorpe. Barris. Oh, it's come off his foot, has it, on the full?
Which way?
And Seven comes across just to...
Just slow it down. It's definite. You're 100% sure. Adelaide's kick. Okay.
Well, they asked him if he's 100% sure. He said yes, so you've got to back the umpire in. Does it hit the boot? That's off the hand.
Wow, it's a huge call. And now a huge kick. Bill Thorpe doesn't take it on. O'Brien came to the ball. Great skills, hard work, aim on. Hawks back to the middle, too severe on the kick. And Butts is there.
The jurisdiction was tested there. I feel like both field umpires knew that wasn't off the boot.
They weren't quite willing, though. They had to back down the umpire. They might think again next time. O'Brien gave it to Walker. Goals. Not too far away.
And you got to back him. If he says 100%, I'm 100% sure, you back him.
They did.
They'll chat to him during the week and say, we've got to work on you 100%.
It's 3 behinds for Tex.
4-8 for the team.
Jouth brought it in long. Meek couldn't make the contest. O'Brien did well. Clean grab from the ruckman. Back inside. Jouth was placed in front. Thilthorpe, fearful spoil, coming only as far as Barris. Battle on the wraparound. Let's look for something on the way out. Doubling back battle. So the switch not there for them. Meek and O'Brien again. Aim on. Scholes working a long way from home. Butts kept him underneath. The fullback quick to get back onto it. Hinge couldn't control it under the good pressure.
So that's a double effort from Marvial. He makes the contest, he brings it to ground, and then he follows up, puts the pressure on, and draws him out on the full free kick.
And as important as contested possession is with the Hawks are +10 here, it's ground balls as well, so that's work rate and being able to get to the contest.
Last 2 times these sides have met here, it's been a 3-point result. That is the margin right now.
Thanks, boys. Guys, I'm backing out here. Watch my line. Hold that meter.
All Hawks are ready for the quick kick.
Break the gaze.
Dawson comes along the ground instead. Joel towards the line, but not out. A lot of pumping going on. Miller was the poor sucker that had to pick the football up.
It's over the boundary line. It's over the boundary line.
Over the boundary line. Field umpire doing a bit of boundary work.
100% that one.
100%.
100%.
Low scoring and tight. Shallow throw in. He got it going. Coming. Saw it keen. Didn't quite get out initially and dropped the footy as a result.
Oh, what's Ginnivan thinking? He's had a shot there.
He was thinking I can kick a goal.
What's he thinking?
It was a free shot though, Jack, in a way.
He tried to drop the shoulder and maybe get a high contact free kick team, but he just had to work his way over the boundary, and surely he would have got away with it in the tackle. Just trying to be a little bit too clever now. We saw him miss a set shot virtually directly in front. He's a left footer, so this could go anywhere.
He missed his shot last week, and his first one tonight has presented. Max Ramsden, can he negotiate this? No. So he's a presence. He's a goal-kicking presence.
Good news for the Adelaide Crows. Rory Laird has just come back onto the ground after that assessment to his left shoulder, but he's all clear.
Thank you, Dal, as Butts brings it along, aimed up at Curtin. There's 3 Hawks running the interference, which they did well collectively.
Getting in nice and early.
Yeah.
You love that, Jack.
Yep. 210,000 members for the Devils. There'll be a few jumpers there tonight, I reckon. Hopefully playing there in season 2028. Hutto, you'll be down there calling, loving it down there.
Won't need a beaning with the roof, Jack. There's the throw in. Tap back by Meek. Sits on the 50. Watson. Saligo was hopeful, I think, of drawing the high contact. You heard not just the words of the umpire, but the tone as well. Play on.
They just look better around the contest at the moment, Hawthorn. They look a bit tougher. Their positioning's good as well, not allowing Adelaide to win those one-on-ones, especially in the air early.
The path of Saligo. Tackle from Impey, and he went umpiring as well there.
Well, the tackling and the hunting's a hell of a lot better. He might have been stiff not to get the free kick, Impey, but you just get the feeling Sam Mitchell might have delivered a few home truths at half-time, and there appears to be an attitudinal change.
Quick in there from Meek. Ramsden again. Upturned in the flight, play on the call. Rankin Laird is back out there, shaping the kick. Impey, Fogarty over the top. It was a nice rise, but he doesn't drag it down. And look at them pile on now. The pressure has turned.
Thank you.
Might have been unlucky not to get a free kick there, Ramsden. 233, the pressure ranking from the Hawks in this third term. Long overdue.
Oh,
he never even took it.
Had any intent to take it. Meek up inside the 50, so a chaotic ball. Ramsden knocked that on quite cleverly. Ginnivan didn't gather. It's quite the scramble. Michaelani keen to clear. How will the hack kick go? Chath has first access. A good turn of pace as well. He settles himself. Tried to thread the pass. Coming. Saw it coming.
Oh, opportunity lost there. Good pressure created. The hack kick out of defence. Chath just unable to find a target. A little change in the game early in this third term.
Long down the wing, and that was a little easy than it probably should have been from a Hawthorn perspective, but good from Walker. Driving ball. Rochelle couldn't get the access at all. Impey very lively. Takes the mark.
He's coming up for possession number 17. That's the most on the ground. Jordan Dawson with 16 for the Crows.
Driving ball. O'Brien does everything but take the mark.
Yeah, the aspect that Hawthorn have been able to get on top of is clearance in this quarter.
He's landed heavily. Oh, crunch.
8-2.
I have to shrug that off, Jace. Life of Riley O'Brien taps it out in front of Rankin. He saw a little gap and he was able to bust his way through. High ball. It's a block.
He made sure the umpire saw it. Tom Harris, there was just an arm put across in front of him. Made the most of the contact.
Better actor than Jordan Dawson.
Hawks with the only 2 goals of this third quarter. They've had the favour of the umpires as well, as you can see. 6-1 for the term. Aim on. Uses the stand rule to get around and further with the kick. That extra distance favoured O'Brien. Ginnivan makes a little charge. Tapped it inside 50 off the boot. Butts had a look. Where's it? Almost beheaded was Watson. Hinge.
He was lying on the ground laughing after that tackle, Nick Watson. He just dropped a little bit, but that's high. I mean, you got to pay it. He's nearly had his head ripped off, even if you're playing for it.
So Nick Watson on return, 6 disposals, hasn't hit the scoreboard.
Conversion's been difficult for both teams tonight.
Set shots haven't been great overall this year. 13 goals, 9 and 6 misses. But amazingly, this to put Hawthorn in front. Doesn't get close really, but it stays alive. Oh, Charles! That does get close.
I reckon it flicked his boot, but he just didn't quite get enough on it.
What good. Sort of bicycle kick here by Marbell Charles.
Flicks his boot.
How do you not get enough to get it to the line?
Well done, Jordan Butts.
I'm going to go threading passes through, and now he's had the bicycle kick. What will he do next?
This is a completely different Hawthorn outfit here, and Jace, I reckon you're exactly right. Sam Mitchell has had some stern words. Their attitude is just different.
O'Brien was hoping for Rankin, it got past him. Watson runs it over. Such a change. The clearance game has been a big part of that. We wrestle each other to a standstill. It's Cumming who wins the clearance for the Crows. Harris put his fist through the footy. Berry cleared the way. Cumming fed it to Keys. Just evasive action to Rankin. Time for Tex to have a fly. Knocked away by Battle. It fell the way of Butler, so the Hawks will be able to build around the wing again. Although O'Brien is there, couldn't take the mark. Keane underneath. Laird threads his pass going forward, and he's waited that well. Cumming resists the roll and go, and instead places it forward. Keys, can he find the right target inside 50? He gets motor in his kick to himself. He's unleashed. Doesn't have it online though.
Just wasn't the right kick. That needed to go to the hot spot, 10 or 15 metres out from goal. Give his forwards a chance to compete for it.
Last goal, 23 minutes into the second term, the Crows. 18 minutes into the third. The margin has been reduced to 3 as Meek stretches well in front. It's a good take for these conditions. We've seen plenty of marks dropped. hand off to Weddle. There's a cautious-looking kick along the line. Didn't get as meatier connections he would have liked. Laird, it comes out to Michael Annie. Had his hand held by Ward. It was effective. Ginnivan played it back through CJ and Moore, and then Weddle again. Another hack more than anything. And Keen's dropped it. He's the latest. Tapped it to Laird. Crows' errors are starting to grow. It is a high ball. Difficult for all comers. Saliga ran into a roadblock not once, but twice. And it's Moore's tackle, the second one, that has maximum impact.
Just seeing a couple of errors that have been like that Keen drop mark. Just the pressure starting to build a little bit.
And show on the face of Matthew Nix. Won 5 of the last 6 games. Was a nail-biter last week at home. Hawthorn hitting back hard in this third term. Weddle, all things considered. 18th disposal, equal most on the ground. O'Brien fended it away. Berry back to the middle where the Hawks are lined up. Impey, Walker does well. Butler has a couple of cracks at it. Michael Annie with the retort. Back it goes. Keys tries to lift over Weddle. He's given away the free, but did he hand it?
Well, he tried to compete in the air, but he didn't touch the ball, and I think that's what the umpires pinged him for.
Around goes Weddle as they probe once more. Ramsden in the mix. Keen again. Rattles out of there coming. Just a hit in hope, and those hopes do come true because Fogarty takes the mark and the Crows get it. Well, they did get a clear venture, but Impey again continues his outstanding game. That is his 20th disposal.
Butler is the short. Unhurried battle. Stays the outer side.
See them trying to shift the ball now. Spread the Adelaide defence.
On with the incision. Rankin hands to it. Ward tackled by Laird. Chaff has made an impact up inside the 50. O'Brien got back off Meek. Diffused the situation well. Coming. It's like 15 with this. Take the territory up the line. What a text, but a little bit in cold. Quick release. Wards drops it inside, spoils a mate, so it's all on the ground ball. Morrison gave it to Newcomb, time to strike, not to be.
He's just having that sort of night, Jai Newcomb. He hasn't found much of the ball. He's been well beaten, and then an opportunity that he would probably snaffle 8 or 9 times out of 10.
And Josh Reddle's starting to have a big impact on this game across back this third quarter. He's already had 7 disposals, nearly 300 metres gained.
Hinge strokes it down the line. Newcomb quite good in the air for a midfielder. Didn't mark, but does get involved in the chain again. Keep thrusting it forward. Laird just shoots it out to Berry. Back along the wing. Barris had position on Fogarty. Doesn't mark, tumbling. Fogarty gets a toe in. Rounded up by Battle and sends Weddle on his way. He's a big threat off half-back. And a growing one with Impey, and now to Ginnivan. They're trying to piece this together. Maybe they just flick it around a little bit first. And on to Ward. And then to Weddle again. Throws his head back in disappointment.
Just misjudged it, but they're starting to get the game a little bit more on their terms. So a little bit of possession, a little bit of change of direction, a little bit of tempo.
Ronnie Smith looks like he's ready to be inserted. The long sleeves. Hawks made their change at half-time and seems to have played a part.
Philthorpe rucks. Butler released it towards Ramsden. Squeezed a kick toward the 50. Michael Annie couldn't quite hang on to it. Moore kept it going Hawthorn's way. Again, it's this awkward ground ball in the slippery conditions. Laird was able to get it away initially. It might come straight back. Butler works it around. Ward searching for the right target. Morrison will have to go. Instinctively tossed it to the square. Coming. Got the fingertips to it. 2-point margin again.
The game's flipped on its head. This is now a forward half game for the Hawthorn Football Club. Adelaide blasting it out of defence. Hawthorn turning it over, getting re-entries.
Miller settles, while the Crows fans are unsettled. Hinge 4:30 to go in the third term, which has been dominated by Hawthorn. And a couple of points. Hinge high again, which gives the defenders every opportunity to do that.
Max Riley on the meter.
19-7, the inside 50s in Hawthorn's favour in the third term. A complete turnaround of the territory dominance Adelaide had in the first half.
As a result, they have the only 2 goals. A penalty from Ramsden forward, but the umpire could read that. Oh, yes, he could read that was a skill error. A bit easier when it's done by a ruckman. 7.
9-1 and free kicks as well.
And it appears that sub has been made. Sorry, Hutto. It is Pedler who looks like he's made way. Brody Smith goes onto the ground. Game number 266.
The other thing they've done, 10-4 the clearances in favour of Hawthorn this quarter, which they just didn't look like in the first half.
The free kicks is an interesting one. You can look at it, but like in terms of it's an umpire's decision. But the fact of the matter is that they've actually been able to get the ball more. They've been better at contested possession. They've been better at clearance. So they're first to the ball, and that's where most free kicks are paid.
A lot more possession, 80 possessions to 58 in the third term in Hawthorn's favour.
Wheels had 8 of them. Hook back into play again. Saligo goes for a nice slide. It was due to a push in the back.
Crows are looking for some quality ball forward. They're goalless in this term. Up to the next pack. Well done, Curtin.
He's looked classy in the air tonight, hasn't he? He might be one that can perhaps spend a bit more time forward of the ball and give them the lift.
He'll have a look at the deep targets, set it up, see what they can muster. Philthorpe hands to it. Stolen by Dawson. Oh. That would have been something off the post. 3 points again.
He picked the pocket. Absolutely picked the pocket of Mitchell there and into the post. Curtin, that's his 4th contested mark tonight. He's starting to become an issue as a wing tonight for the Adelaide Football Club.
So with Pedler off, perhaps he could go forward. See how they settle. Gunston plays it back to D'Ambrosio. Along the line goes the kick. Well held though by Butts.
Good mark, Butts. That was important. They had Ginnivan ready to sweat on the ground ball then.
Uncertain, but goes down the line. Access from the side for Curtin that time. Nash is carried along by Neil Puller. Umpire to sort it out. Adelaide 4-10-34. Hawks not a picture of accuracy either with 4-7-31. Berry handball squashed immediately. Ward, the onus was to get rid of it. Well predicted by Saligo. Got a hand in and now gets a kick in. Wide to the 50. Rochelle Mitchell doing well enough. Scoop from Impey. Tackle just as good by Murphy. Crows, it just feels like they've upped the ante. They have to. And it's over the line and out of bounds.
Hawks went goalless in the opening term. Adelaide trying to avoid that fate in this third. Maybe 3 points it's destined to be, as it has been the past 2 times here between these 2 teams. Philthorpe had a mind to drag it clear. Didn't quite work. D'Ambrosio slapped it onto the boots. Butler, first access. Had to be clean and wasn't, and Warren worried him out of it. 6th season in charge. 9 wins already. Looking for a first finals appearance as Matthew Nix. Sam Mitchell's already taken his Hawks to a final series, winning an elimination final. This is the sort of 4 points that might determine who has the double chance at the end of the season. He placed it down. D'Ambrosio worked it around. Ward's kick smothered by Philthorpe.
Speak about the possession battle. Jason's mentioned it. Plus 21 to Hawthorn here. Jordan Dawson's only had the 2 possessions this quarter.
Friday the 13th day with a full moon. Who knows what will happen later. Hurried ball goes forward and Rochelle had hands to it, couldn't hang on. Murphy tried to feed it along, ball back in dispute. Impey wobbled it out. Jath, not a great kick. Dawson a chance to bring it back in. Gave it away, kick charge down. Newcomb playing Berry this time. Aim on, Berry still sweating on this.
couldn't break clear.
Thanks, Seb. Back it out this way, guys. Thanks, Seb. Back it out. Back it out.
91 seconds to negotiate to the final change. Meek Filthorpe wasn't letting him out.
Conditions are just dictating that it's going to be a scrap all night. It's tough to get clean ball, and it's really going to come down to whoever's able to take those chances when they present.
How many goals wins? I wonder.
It's a good call, Hunter.
Hawthorn down, Nash,
End zone.
Miller up, Rochelle, bit of a standoff. Battle realises that. There'll be lots of appeals for deliberate and holding the ball, and anything goes in the final term. A whistle here, a non-decision there. It could all play a part.
You can see Newcomb, he's the one that's getting to Dawson in this third quarter, trying to break the tag.
Like it. Meek to dictate again. And again. Neil Bullen hunts it. Trip. Such a fine line.
Gee whiz. I don't reckon that was a trip.
Where it started, where it finished.
He's got him above the knees.
Above the knees.
That's
See his elbows below the knees, but not where the actual...
not the hands. The hands above the knees, so that's a tough one. But Alex Neil-Bullen was first to the footy, so he gets the advantage from the umpires, a shake of the head. And it might just be a kick like this that gives them the breathing space they need.
11-5 in 12 games this year. What an addition he's been to the team. It's in big moments that your recruits can make a big difference, but unfortunately this time, for Adelaide, it floats across.
It's also moments like that, Jason, that you would love to see Lloyd Meek put that ball through for a point.
Behind, yep.
Now another opportunity. Adelaide have got plenty dangerous forwards. Rochelle and Rankin. Huge watch.
Looks like Curtin's playing forward as well. Battle's got the job on him.
It's a tense 19 seconds to be had here. Ball gets loose, goal sign. Rochelle couldn't quite find the purchase he was after. Travels away much to his frustration, and it's a 4-point lead.
So 4 points will be the gap. Barring a disaster here from Hawthorn. And we are set for a final term full of tension. The first ever Friday night game in Launceston at Utah Stadium is going down to the wire. The Hawks with the only 2 goals of the third term. Such a contrast from what we saw in the first 2 quarters. Adelaide had the lead. Can they hang on? They came from behind last week to get the points against Brisbane. Game 2 of a very busy round 14 of AFL football, and to dissect it all, Gary and Jared. Coaches Night Monday on AFL 360, Ross Lyon and Chris Scott. And then Tuesday...
All right. 3-quarter time. I tell you what, haven't we got a ring-a-ding-ding game happening here, folks? Let me just check that. 4 goals, 11. 4-11, 35, the Adelaide Crows to Hawthorn, 4-7. 4-7, 31. The Crows by 4 points. 8 goals, 18 in this match so far. I tell you what, B3, how you doing? Oh, I tell you what, I thought it was going to open up a little bit more in that quarter. The Hawks looked a little bit more in control of that quarter. They did look a lot better, but still, they couldn't really put the score on the board. Third term, the Crows added 4 behinds. It was 2 goals, 3 to the Hawks. There we go. 4 points of difference. I just couldn't have... well, if someone said it was going to be 31-35, 3-quarter time between these 2 sides, I would have said, what are you talking about? Don't be joking. These 2 sides, they're high-scoring sides. Holy Toledo Batman. Yeah, that's... you're spot on. Dunstall gets excited over the Hawks. He loves the Hawks, of course. Getting excited watching paint dry. Tell you what, it was good that the siren went. Now we're going into the final quarter. Anyone can win this, as I was saying. 3 points with the margin in the last few games between these 2 teams. So obviously it doesn't matter where they sit on the ladder, or if they're playing good football, they're close. If they're playing bad football like they're doing tonight, that's close. But nonetheless, we are in for a fascinating... look, it's not the best game, to frank about that, but it's fascinating. It's an interesting game. It's who wants this game more. Because do they forget? Look at these teams to the ladder, 3rd and 6th. Do either of these teams want a chance at the top 4? Obviously, at the moment, the answer's no. There we go. Tingai shouty, odi ba, sana all. Hey, let's have a quick glance at the goal scorers. Do we get many? Well, we've got about a handful of goal scorers for the match so far, which is just unheard of. Up until three-quarter time in a game of footy between two good sides, even two bad sides, there's normally more than 6 goal scorers. But there we go. It's fascinating because it's in Launceston. I'll tell you what, though. Eddie, the ground actually doesn't look too bad out there. The ground actually looks pretty good. I know it's a little bit dewy, but I don't know what's going on. Maybe these teams are both having an off week. That's why the result is like it is, just so low scoring. Adelaide, you know what? Adelaide are just struggling in their forward line after like the first half of the opening quarter. They've just struggled. Hawthorn have seemed to flooded back there, and they just rebounded too easy. As you can see by the inside 50s of Adelaide, so many. Ben Keys there, he's got a couple. Daniel Curtin, Isaac Cumming for Adelaide Crows. Jack Gunston, he's got a couple. Connor McDonald, of course, Chol has one each for the Hawks. Just have a quick glance at the top possession getters. Jarman Impey, actually, he's played all right. Him and Weddle have actually played all right for the Hawks. I don't mind their game at all. 23-21, Jordan Dawson leading the way for the Crows there. All right, I'll just slowly go down here. Isaac Ranke, look, he's trying, but he hasn't really captured his form tonight. There we go. I'll just roll on down these quickly. It's nice ground, and it's too cold. I tell you what, it's cold, but you know what? They'll be warming up out there. They wouldn't be too cold. They're running around and everything. You know what it was like playing footy, even when it was cold. You'd certainly warm up a little bit, but if you're just standing down there in the forward line or somewhere like that and not moving, yeah, you'll be chilly. You'll certainly be super duper chilly. Just have a look at the team stats for a quick jiffy. Tighten right up now. Now it's the Hawks disposals ones, and of course the Hawks. They're really tightened. I think the Hawks had 19 inside 50s in that third term. 19, what was it, boys, from memory? 30, was it 37 or 39? So they've gone about 9 or 11 inside 50s, Adelaide. So both teams getting plenty of chances in there for not much. Let's have a look at the free kick count. As you can see, it's really come alive, 17-20. Hawks getting a few more in there. I just want to have a look down here at the marks inside 50. See how this is it's just so tough for either side to actually get a clean mark. They're just not working for each other. The forwards, the ball delivery is not the best for either side. That's why I thought I'd have a look at the inside 50 marks, 2 to 3, because both teams are getting absolutely plenty of inside 50s. Tackles inside 50, as we saw, Hawthorn really lifted their game in that third term, as we can see. The tackles inside 50 up to 11 there for the Hawks. So that was good to see. So we are definitely in for a ring-a-ding-ding-ding game coming into the final quarter. Tell you what, I still don't know who's going to win, Emmanuel. I still don't know who's going to win. Tell you what, yeah. Let's hope someone stands up in this game and tears this final quarter apart for a little bit of excitement. All right, that's enough of me. Let's get back down to the ground for the action. They're about to bounce the ball. Final quarter here between the Hawks and the Crows. Let's go.
Adelaide by 4 points over Hawthorn. Into the final term we go. Meek took some territory, and the follow-up from Nash wasn't bad. Ginnivan worked it around. Meek committed himself. Keys wrapped him up.
We'll keep an eye on Jordan Dawson. We saw his last quarter heroics last week. Just the 4 possessions in the third term. Can he get himself up and running to lead the Crows again here in the last?
O'Brien into open space. Berry somehow got it to his boot, and it worked for Murphy. The quick turn and go. The one-on-one for Tex. Good spoil battle. Barris is there to support. Hardwick's got a job to do off the last line. Just enough space. to get his kick away. Crows are well set. Dawson's first involvement. Michaelani releases. Saligo rode the momentum through the footy out. Michaelani and Hinge combine. Back to the hot spot. Rochelle gets his first real look at goal and misses.
It could be a game of inches this last term. But importantly, Adelaide have started with the ball in their forward half now. They want to try and lock it in.
Battle trots out and then goes to Jaff. Came on at half-time, starting again as the sub. Adelaide's lead, a league of 5. It's come a little off the inside there of the boot. Unexpectedly, Ginnivan and Laird was in a one-on-one.
He's lifted his work rate in that last third quarter there. Jack Ginnivan getting up the ground, getting involved. He's the sort of player that can have a couple of critical moments in this last quarter.
And there's 6 goal kickers in the game. Keys, Gunston, the multiples. Ryan pats it down. Saligo saw a way through. Scrounges the kick back. Anything could happen, especially with this man. Rankin feeds it out. Murphy, one more give to the outside. Smith challenged by Jaff. Impey and Weddle, they leave it behind. Keys feeding it through. Rochelle under siege. Didn't stop him though. Rush kick at goal. He's guarded by D'Ambrosio. Keys again. He can pop up anywhere.
Well, they had lucky they didn't get punished there, the Hawks. A couple of tackles that should have been tackled cold were slipped. Allowed Adelaide to keep the ball alive.
Make the tap, read brilliantly, but another swing and a miss.
This is like the first quarter all over again when they just dominated and didn't quite capitalise on the scoreboard, the Crows.
They had an opponent miss all their chances late last week. Rochelle and Rankin, so it was in the best possible hands early. Both have missed. 1 goal neat. Jack gives them a look long. Worrell with the determined spoil. D'Ambrosio keeps it in and takes the territory as a result. The Crows are well set. They have been all night. Hinge to Smith. Hinge viable. Came rushing around and plays it for Rankin. Let's get the forward structure right. See what Rankin can find. Straight to the man on the mark, so a wasted opportunity. Newcomb over the footy. Smith holds him up. Spills out. Dawson kept the hands free. Murphy and Walker. So Tex hemmed in. Happy for the throwing.
Still just very safe movement from both sides, and it's been much like that all night. Who's going to roll the dice first and maybe try and come back through the middle of the ground? Handball receive, bit of run and gun, get some speed on the ball through the centre.
6 consecutive behinds, all since half-time. It could change in a heartbeat. Rankin's kick. They just can't finish off their work at the moment. It's painful, I'm sure, for Adelaide. Coaches, players and fans watching on. As Jared said, they experienced this in reverse in the last quarter last week, but they did it themselves in the opening term. Dominating the clearance, giving themselves opportunity. That's the positive. Quickly out of there from Nash. Ramsden had a fair piece of it. Turned back by King. Polite questions are asked, and the umpire says, yep, that's insufficient. That chair's getting a workout.
He is an advocate of the last touch out of bounds, Matthew Nix.
I don't mind that one. I think he just threw a boot at it and it went out of bounds.
I think that pretty much if you soccer it, you lose control.
Ginnivan up to a big contest. Ramsden worked underneath it. Spuds went over at the key moment. Scholl towed it up. Gunston didn't quite handle it the first, and he had plenty of company at the second.
That's been the difference tonight. Jack Gunston just fumbles that one. Had McDonald there for the handball, but the little fumble, all the players get offside to the handball receivers.
Crows have led all night. Hawks looking for the tying goal. Meek gets it going, but no real penetration on it. Laird committed himself. Cumming lends a hand. Hinge took them on, had to get it to his boot. It went nowhere. Aim onto it, 2-on-2. Ramsden brought it down. Cumming arrived. He's been tireless in his work. Gunston somehow ended up with it. Tossed it up. See who can mark. No one. Punched away by Butts. Rochelle. Berry to clear the area and ease some of the tension. Impey had a mind to send it straight back, got dispossessed, and Hardwick held up. If it's played like this, these are going to be excruciating 16 minutes, aren't they?
Oh, the grind. Straight down to Butler. They have to have another go at it.
As excruciating as it is, Jared, I think both sides would be happy to play this as long as the result goes their way. So critical of these 4 points.
Nick just gives it a wallop. Coming, tied up by Amon.
Same again, hold the meter back in here.
Joel Ramsden and Gunston taking up residence up forward. There's a kick of substance out of here. Instead it goes the other way by Dawson. Quickly to Walker. Well put together under the circumstances. Battle. Jath under immediate pressure. Keys is running towards goal. I thought makes it 7 bars in a row.
It's 3 opportunities now for Adelaide early in this final term. The 2 Rankin ones there. Thilthorpe just was a bit too heavy with the foot off the ground. Had 2 players that would have run on it. Ben Keys was goal side. It just went too far.
But given how low scoring it's been, they probably only need another goal, 2 max. And then you're forcing Hawthorn to double their score to try and get in front of you again.
Thilthorpe, Rochelle and Walker, 0-8 between them. Crows work the turnover. Hinge can't make anything of it. Good tackle from Butler. Aigwick's holding the ball as a result. All the small things will count for plenty, including 50-metre penalties.
Just took a bit long giving the ball back.
Some risk of giving away a second when you thrust your head forward like that.
Silly, wasn't it?
What the circumstances of a tight game require. Sam Butler.
Stand.
A long road back from the broken leg last year. Sets it up. Who wants to have a jump? Crows have got numbers around it. Smith happy to stand in the tackle.
In these conditions, that's a really good spot to kick the ball.
Get out this way.
You can see the headbutt. You just want to be so careful you don't give away another 50.
I'm not sure what he was trying to do.
Not much has to go wrong there, and you're on the goal line. Worrell got caught, had to get it to his boot and did. Curtin paddles, just wants to get it outside the dangerous area. Smith, with all his experience, over the boundary.
Riley.
8 minutes gone. Still 14 to work their way through. Crows now have a seasonally adjusted handy lead of 7 points.
Holding Adelaide.
Everyone waiting to see which way we're going. It goes to O'Brien, soldiering on in the ruck.
It's been a good battle, those two, hasn't it? Lloyd Meek and Riley O'Brien.
Out to Worrell, up to the wing. Thilthorpe comes at the footy. So did Curtin. Jath trying to twist and turn his way from Keys. 8 goals, 21 cumulative total tonight.
Lloyd, Riley, back out here.
Saligo tries to get some pace up and escape. Uses the left boot, and Hardwick knew exactly where it was headed.
They're winning the ball again. Adelaide in this 4th quarter, 33 possessions to 17, and 7-2 the clearances.
Hardwick straight back somewhere up along the line. Moore where he should be at the front. The threat grows because Gunston has it. One of the 2 multiple goal kickers in the game. And Jack Gunston, for such a huge portion of his career, has been a magnificent kick for goal. These are difficult conditions for anyone. The angle is acute, particularly for a right footer. But if you had to nominate anyone to step forward for Hawthorn, it may well have been Jack Gunston. And if you got a second chance, you might choose someone else.
Keep coming. Thanks, Max.
Even goal between them.
Miller up, has room to move, so he takes it in the Thilthorpe direction. Ground ball, Dawson didn't gather, Smith didn't, gave it to Dawson, so the Crows will get it up beyond halfway. Rochelle had to set himself to race back after it. He gives right of way to Keys. Good penetrating entry. The race is on. It skips and slides and pulls up late. Impey doesn't have it initially. It's back in dispute. Rochelle tried and they all took hold. The desperate loose ball.
Didn't quite get the bounce he was looking for, Charmin. He just went away from him.
Crows chance to push. Ward's kick partially smothered. Laird releasing hand pass. Curtin tried the cute kick inboard. Rochelle missed the hand pass to Dawson, and there it broke down. Ramsden down. Curtin back to the teeth of goal. Filthorpe up, couldn't mark. Fogarty down, O'Brien down. Not a small in sight.
Rankin and Rochelle in your forward line. It's O'Brien and Filthorpe trying to win, and Fogarty trying to win the ground ball there, but
Felt like a long way down. Now it's up again and on the move. Walker came, Ward. Traffic report is heavy. It's a gridlock.
But if they can on high alert here too, you just do not want to give away a free kick.
If they can kick a goal, you just feel it's a long way back for the Hawks.
Saligo was trying. Still sits there. Hawks vulnerable. Then Nash has gone to ground. Generous interpretation.
So lucky.
You don't want to be doing that.
Oh, so lucky.
Tossed up in the air one more time.
Hold the arm.
Which way?
It's going Hawthorn's way.
Right to defence. Both in defence. Let him play.
I think had the power ball or the supplementary number there, 17. Clears it out to the wing. Ramsden breaks through his fingertips. Keen, impressive. Miller rushes it in there. Filthorpe, not quite. Ilpullen coming. The edge a little closer and closer. Jaff let it bounce. He's always calm and in control. Sends Impey on a way out. Oh, Morrison just pushes Smith.
That's a good win, 1 against 2.
A push in a marking contest. Anyway, it's back through the middle to Moore. Channel opens up. There's space to work in. Gunston knows how to do that. Pauses just outside the 50.
Yeah, you can see a lot of numbers back for the Crows.
Scouring, looking desperately. Trying to find the most compelling option. Couple open up short. Ignores the overtures. He is going to go back.
Where's the barrel?
In the cold night here, he gives it everything he's got. He's only marginally offline.
He's got the journey in the end, didn't he?
It was probably as good a chance as any, wasn't it?
Tantalisingly poised at 5 points now. Keane, you just want to get it outside the defensive 50 initially.
He was about to go down the middle then.
Yes. That's too early for all of that. And they're leading. Coming. Rode the pressure. Didn't do Neil Bullen any favours.
It's another missed tackle, Josh Ward. You get them cold like that, you get an opportunity to put the pressure on. You just get the feeling someone's going to do something to separate these two teams. Kick a miracle goal.
There are stars on both teams. Who might rise in the final portion of the last term? Newcomb and Berry have been hard at it all night. Laird slides in, released. Curtin wriggled around. Got knocked off.
See, that was a quick whistle.
And once you got that arm free, though, the umpire's...
Oh, no!
Crucial mistake. And Sam Butler, it's his second 50 of the term.
This is a monster kick. A monster kick. You can see he's got the right arm loose, so they want to see him try and throw that on the boot. And then he puts the ball on the ground.
It's like he's going to go around the body. I don't mind he's in the cold conditions.
Sam Butler, such a popular figure at the Hawks, a gruesome broken leg last year. On Friday night footy, he's got the chance to grab the lead. Sam Butler's moment arrives. He doesn't mean it.
You can say you like that, Jack, but I don't care how many times you try to convince me, I just won't.
I thought I was going to have to resuscitate you there for a second.
I just won't. That's almost directly in front.
So it's back to 4. Tossed up again. Dawson trying to repeat his heroics from last week. Watson, though, getting it forward carefully via Butler off the left of D'Ambrosio. Gunston again. He went to ground. And he's got the 3.
He's hurt his left knee here.
His knee.
That's really dangerous. You've pushed him into the contest.
Oh, there you go. So it's pushing into the contest. Something we saw earlier on in the season. That was the big fly from Dawson.
Got on the eye.
We've seen players continually struggle to convert tonight. Can Gunston provide the straight kick? Didn't look as obvious as some of the ones we've seen this year.
It was there, but Gunston's knee looked awkward.
8 goals, 24 between the two teams. Jack Gunston has missed again. 2 goals, 3 is his personal tally.
Should have snapped it, Chief.
No, you could see where he was running, though. He ran where he kicked the ball.
Is anyone going to kick a goal?
That's the thing.
In this last quarter.
Opportunities, and if you don't take them, you don't win.
And here we are at 3 points again.
Yeah, point off.
Worrell to a pack. Well, that landed with Fogarty a little luckily.
Scared.
Take any yard you can. The Crows have been defending for a while. They'll try to thread it together. Keys. The couple in game 150. Well, they got it half forward. Reaching from all angles. Jack dragged off it. Rankin tried to probe. Moore fights the fights. Dawson is okay. He's there on the spot.
It's been a long time since Adelaide have kicked one through the big sticks. The 23rd minute mark?
Yeah.
So, yeah, gosh.
7 behinds in the second half. They scrounge away. It is a hard ball to win. Thilthorpe, it didn't go anywhere. Ward got the clearing kick. Choles a long way up. Ginnivan lurking. Has it, no real path forward. Good hand pass to Moore. The link-up run comes from Newcomb. Threaded the hand pass to Butler and around to Moore. Put a step on. Butler's going to put Chol into space. No, there's no space. Smith ran him down. Didn't get the verdict. Miller pushes back the other way. Neil Bullen. It's Michael Annie's job to get it down the line. Hawks are well set and Hardwick has it in hand.
You can see he wants to come through the middle.
Gritting the teeth. He thought it was accessible in the middle on the corridor. And he was right. He went to Weddle, threading the handball, surging. Impey, look in the rearview mirror. Now it's all ahead. That's not what he meant to do. But they'll take it. McDonald scores a goal. And it puts them ahead for the first time in the night. And what a time to hit the front. Hawthorn lead by 3.
Well, finally, we've been playing one side of the ground. It comes back over. We're playing the other side of the ground. Both sides being very safe with their ball movement. And it was Blake Hardwick who took the risk. Weddle involved. Impey with the run. Not sure about this as a kick, but got a McDonald, and that's a really good finish. Good pressure there. And in a game where goals have been hard to find, finally, just a little bit of dash, a little bit of excitement, and a kick off the side with a little bit of luck.
That's a shame.
And
But you know what?
Finally.
Adelaide have been so good at stopping Hawthorn from changing direction and squaring the ball up. And you could see Hardwick, as soon as he won the ball, he was frustrated. He was yelling at players, move, run, break, give us an option. And then he found Weddle in the middle, and they were able to fashion something, although not perfect by any stretch.
That's what leadership looks like, though. Hardwick knew the way. The dare of the Hawks, and now the Crows have to answer. Jordan Dawson's free kick.
Dawson, Adelaide. Yeah.
So straight back inside for the Crows, searching for a second half goal at last. Off hands, Fogarty, can he release? He can't. Barris hanging on for dear life. Near the goal mouth. Trailing for the first time, the Crows. O'Brien, a lot of movement. Neil Bullen trying. Rankin stayed viable. Cumming lends a hand. They can't get hold of it. Throw it in.
See what Isaac Rankin's trying to do there. Just paddle it with his foot to a teammate. Isaac coming off the back of this stoppage by himself.
So many dangerous players here.
Get them in motion. Cleared the rucks. Dawson up to Rankin outside of the boot. That might get it done. Isaac Rankin with a moment of inspiration. And the deft touch of his captain set him up. Crows didn't trail for long.
You just felt it was coming. They've had some opportunities. Both teams have had opportunities, truth be told, and they've been unable to take them. But you need the right players with the ball in their hands at the right times. A couple of times early on he's been loose at stoppies, and you just think, well, if this man gets a hold of it. Nick Watson's got him, and that's unusual territory for him. Very unusual territory.
How good was the paddle from Dawson as well? Knew that he was under pressure. You can see here, just tapped it up. If there's one thing Isaac Rankin does, he doesn't miss 3 in a row. 2 snaps that he should have kicked early in this quarter.
Everyone knows that, Jack.
Everyone knows that. It's an absolute rule of AFL. And we're going to goal first here, boys.
Yeah, suddenly, well, the Crows have, in the champion data era since 1999, haven't had a goal the second half, and that continues. Now the Hawthorn response. Berry digs in, though. Rochelle versus Well versus Newcomb. Impey, they've chained the handballs up. Look at the speed. The kick didn't quite match. Gunston strong against Warren. McDonald already has 2. Feeds it out. Amon prepared to go outside to Ward. Jaff off the left boot. How far can it carry? Not too far. O'Brien on the job. Jaff comes the second time. Now it's Morrison skating through. Cumming takes care of him. And the quick kick was rushed without any design. And Laird there with the respite. Just under 6 minutes remaining here on a freezing Friday night in Launceston.
It's desperation stakes. Laird sets it close to the boundary. Weddle had a fly, couldn't hang on, shovelled the rest of the way over by Battle.
Might have got away with one there, Josh Battle.
Well, that's deliberate. That has to be deliberate. Because it wasn't in the marking contest. That's a loose ball that he just slapped over the boundary line.
And we're finally starting to see, with 5 minutes to go, just the game start to open up and the risks from both sides start to become just a little bit more. I want to take that risk through the middle. The speed is on the game. It's going to set up for a fascinating last 5 minutes here.
Hawks have got a risk to win. Free kick. Newcomb. Ferry's first time that he's infringed in the hard tag. More. Numbers are committed back. We'll give them a look either in the air or on the ground. Here they come. Meek brought it to ground. Ginnivan lurks. So too McDonald. Ginnivan couldn't do much about it.
That kick to Dylan Moore, I'd love to see him mark it and just go straight away. You already know that Adelaide is set up. Just get it in there.
They'd be stiff if they got beaten after leading for that much of the game.
Nash, great hand pass. McDonald trying to repeat the feat. Didn't get enough on it. But
That's a big win. Holding Marby or Chol out, Jordan Butts, and then able to take the intercept mark.
Butts puts his faith in Phil Thorpe. Look at the speed. Going through to disturb. Gets it out. That will give Hawthorn an opportunity here.
You can see Riley Thilthorpe pushing up. He's going to be the target that they'll kick to all the time along up the line.
Yeah, mark or out of bounds as well.
Tension that's in the faces of Sam Mitchell and Matthew Nix. Make the tap. Knocked it on further. Nash spinning like a top. Hinge was vulnerable when he chose to go for the footy. The Hawks decided to wait.
I think it was clever though. He knew he was going to get tackled, Hinge. Just allow yourself to get tackled. Hold on to the ball. Don't let it spill out. Take the stoppage.
4:22 to go. Coming, smothered by Meek. Still gained 20 metres of value.
Is that deliberate?
That's a right hook.
If he just had been a little bit more subtle,
a bit more subtle.
20 rows back doesn't get it done.
That ball.
Battle goes short to Jaff. How will they make the incision? He's just going to go long here to where the numbers have massed. That's exactly the plan. Invitations are out to run and jump. It's all the Crows in the air. The fist from Butts, volleyed back by Chol. Gunston, Newcomb! When it mattered, bring out the nuke! And the Hawks are back in front.
Well, they just didn't kill it. And they just did not kill the ball, the Adelaide defence. And I'll tell you what is crafty here by one of the great forwards of the Hawthorn Football Club in the last 2 decades. Jack Gunston knew that he could not impact that ball in the air. So as soon as he couldn't impact, you could see just working around, trying to block. He just pushed forward, cannot impact the ball here, doesn't need to be at that contest. He goes forward, and all of a sudden, with a tap from Mabior Chol and some clean groundwork there, he sets up potentially what could be the match-winning goal.
It was all about being clean at ground level, you're right. We saw him fumble before. But the funny thing is, it was the long kick forward that fell short of where everyone expected it to go. And I think it was Sam Berry that had the spoil, and he felt really uncomfortable in a pack of 10 people.
Newcomb to make the spoil. He doesn't kill it. And his direct opponent puts the Hawks in front. O'Brien gets the Crows going. Can they respond once more? Impey's got other ideas. Up comes Hinge, has support. Laird pokes forward. Cut off by Impey. Blast up the line. Clears Michael Annie. Next contest, Chol and Butts. Butts almost over.
It's little things like that. Mabior Chol has to make sure that he's got to be clean, get the ball out of bounds. Hawthorn right now have got to play the stoppage game. Keep it in close. Take time off the clock.
The Rucks have tirelessly engaged. And here they are again. O'Brien defensively. Smith stripped of the footy. Oh, wow, that's a hot call.
Well, it's because he sidestepped the first one. And they took that as the prior opportunity. There's very little in the stats in this fourth term. It's just an even game. You just get half an opportunity, you've got to take it.
More lags toward.
So as much as the chaos kick went in shallow last time, this one needs to go at the point post.
Yeah, into the pocket.
A lot happening at the top of the square and a lot more right now. Meek was the most determined flyer. Ground ball again to be dealt with. Worrell will be happy to hold that.
Well, we were talking pocket. Jamie's on the middle of the corridor.
We just got to mitigate the risk.
Yeah.
Don't need to score another goal here, Hawthorn.
Put it where you can defend the ball.
Or if they did, it would just about seal it. Hurry, kick out of the defensive area. Weddle beaten to it. Rankin's desperate to create. Watson equally so to cut it off. Had support. Jack finds the way up the line to no avail. Laird, time to go. Into the middle for Smith. Link it up to Dawson. Who's he got up ahead? The captain has a bounce. Steers it. Rochelle from behind. Kept the contest alive. Has support. Didn't give. Pressure got him. Thilthorpe. A yard here or a yard there. Ward's in trouble after the fumble. Smith got him.
Fumble under pressure. That was a bad one. They had numbers there, the Hawks. DJI Mi's played a game. He's been fantastic for the Hawks tonight.
They've been superb since half-time. They are holding on to a 3-point lead. It's getting desperate for the Crows. Smith committed, so did the Hawks. McDonald are given. More territory taken and time out of the clock. Gunston.
Such a clever kick from Ginnivan. He knew the ball had to go wide, and Gunston knew the kick had to go wide.
Onus on the Crows now to try and win this back. Gunston down the line. Joel, the focus of the kick. Batted away, Worrell. Watson without the football.
Take their time now. Try and look for a chip kick. Got a man up if you're Adelaide. Make them kick long to the contest. Wizard supporter, I suspect.
And he's going to play it back, Watson. So now all of the Crows realise they simply have to man up. It's a bit of keepings off every second that ticks away in Launceston. Down the line, Amon's kick. Deposits it just inside the 50. McDonald taken care of. No, the ball stays alive.
Really clever, Riley O'Brien. He just stopped the tackle. He stood up and said, I'm not touching him. He's got to get the ball out.
Crows have got to win it at the source. It bounced around in there. McDonald got to go in the Hawks' way. Butts and Shoal engaged again. The task just gets that further away for Adelaide. Length of the field stuff.
Yeah, so now if you're Adelaide, you don't want lots of numbers at this stoppage. I know you want to get back and try and run it out. You've actually got to take the risk and play really low numbers. You may give up a goal, but start to spread the ground.
Critical stoppage inside the last minute. Meek underfoot. McDonald's an ever-present threat. Berry dragged off it. McDonald goes again. Same task. Every second that passes advantages Hawthorn. O'Brien trying to swap it on. Ginnivan absorb the tackle, holding the ball or a throw, take your pick. So Keys has opened up the possibility. It has to be ultra aggressive. Set it for Worrell. Troll didn't give away the free kick, did well. They fight hard in the middle. And still there's time.
Well done, Marby or Charles.
Was good.
Oh, rung out both coaches. Ginnivan takes it. How precious is that kick? One more will finish it. Spoil from Keane. And they have to go the length of the field in 17 seconds.
Out of bounds, so much better for the Hawks than going through for a behind. They've just got to keep the ball straight down. Look for the ruckman to tuck it straight down in front and get numbers around it.
One good hit out away.
They've been in front for only 5 minutes of the night. O'Brien gets the tap, gets it to Worrell, so they're still alive. 10 seconds to go. Phil Thorpe, Keys, has to be taken on the wing. Up goes Fogarty. Free kick, the siren sounds. Somehow, Hawthorn have prevailed. Behind for so much of the night, but now their fans embrace. On a freezing Friday night, the Hawks were hot when they needed to be. A magnificent turnaround in the second half. The angst is shown on the faces of the Crows. It's the one that got away. They could not kick straight in the second half. And the Hawks with a critical win. And again, the final margin is 3 points.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? It's extraordinary. Well, there are a lot of people wondering how Brisbane lost that game last week against Adelaide. I think they'll be even more wondering how Adelaide lost this one. You can see the smile on Sam Mitchell's face and the faces of the assistants for Hawthorn. They got out of jail. Both teams wasted opportunities. Adelaide probably should have had a much bigger lead earlier on in the game. At least to the Hawks' credit, they fought back in the second half to make a contest of it. And in the end, it just fell their way. But Adelaide led for so much of this game. Will feel that they should have put that game away.
1-7 in the second half makes it hard, though, doesn't it?
It does.
Going to win many games, even low-scoring games.
And that was Brisbane last week, 0-8 in the last quarter. I just look at some of the young stars for the Hawthorn Football Club. McDonald was fantastic.
He was good.
Test of possessions. He had 9 in the second half. He's at 8 ground balls as well. Just the ability to work around. They just found a way, and they used a few different guys through the middle. We saw Nick Watson starting at centre bounce. Well, Josh Weddle was fantastic in that second half. His run from behind the ball. And they were able to quell the key forwards from the Adelaide Football Club for most of the night.
And it's a familiar narrative for Adelaide, isn't it? On the road against a good team, falling just short.
Well, another loss to a top 8 side.
They dominated this game for large periods, though. You just have to take your opportunities when they present, and they weren't able to do that. And you look at the conversion in front of goal, 5-14, costly.
And 0-8 between Phil Thorpe, Rochelle and Walker.
Let's get to Nick Del Santo.
Well, Dylan, that looked tough from the sideline. How did it feel on the field?
Yeah, from start to finish, it was a tough game, and they're a really quality outfit. We always have some good battles against them, but tonight it was tough conditions just to keep clean, and we knew that we just had to be really hard at the footy, and so were they, so it was a really tough game.
What changed in the second half? It just didn't look like it was working in the first half. No connection. The ball movement just wasn't there, but it seemed like you flicked a switch in the second half.
Yeah, I think it was just came down to pressure. Our pressure rating was low in the first half, and that's what we built our game on. And from the outset in the third quarter, our midfielders really dug in and let the ball come forward, and the forwards were allowed to put a lot of pressure on. So I think it just came down to pressure, and then it let our offence kind of shine. It wasn't pretty football, but I think in the end, yeah, we're able to kick a winning score somehow.
I think the more that we watch the modern game about the flows and momentum, but that last quarter, it felt like it was the scenarios to win the game and save the game going back and forth. How do you assess the way that you guys played that out?
Yeah, we thought we did that pretty well. With about 3 minutes to go when Jai kicked that goal push in front, our communication was really high, and that's probably something we've lacked the last 6 weeks. We feel our communication hasn't been top notch, and the last 2 weeks that's been a big focus for us. And to be able to do that in the last 2 minutes of the game is huge from the lads.
We speak about these conditions. It was tough. There's no hiding the fact. What was with the goal kicking? Probably from both sides.
Yeah, I think we thought the conditions were worse than what they were. For goal kicking, there's not a breeze out here at all compared to last time we played here at GWS. The conditions were perfect to kick goals. We just couldn't do it. I think it was a bit of fatigue because the game was so hot. Fatigue in front of goal, big moments. We just weren't able to stand up, but luckily we still kicked the winning score.
You get to earn the break now. How do you use that time?
Yeah, a few of us are staying down here enjoying Barnbougle, play a bit of golf. Nice. And then a few boys I think are heading up north to get some sun. But the boys will get a bit of refresh now and go into the second half of the year.
Fantastic. Great night's work. Well done.
Thanks, Dale.
Good choices, both of them. A bit of sun or a bit of golf at Barnbougle. The Crows have to buy as well. It'll sit with them, won't it, while they get their rest and respite.
It will. Dylan Moore, one of the best for the Hawks in that last term. His run was important. He had 7 possessions. Conor McDonald, you mentioned, had 6 and kicked a goal. Gunston didn't kick a goal in the last term, but he was important. He had half a dozen possessions, took a few marks, held the ball up for them. So they had some key contributors, and I thought Impey was good.
Well, let's hear from Jack.
The Chiefs just complimenting you, mate. It's very pleasing. Same number, the champion. Mate, that was a tough game. You were probably the only one, I think, consistently able to kick straight in front of goal.
Well, not till the end. I thought that last one, there was a bit of wind out of nowhere, but look, we wanted to play a front half game, and we got that for the majority of it. They came out real hot. I think it was 4 goals to 2 at half time. So they've done a lot of work, but we didn't feel out of it. So we just had to keep chipping away, and it was a bit scrappy, but it's nice to get the win.
How were you able to stay the course? Because I was just speaking to Dylan, it didn't look like great football in the first half. Not much was working. Where are you guys at in regards to just knowing that the process is right and you might be able to get there in the end?
Yeah, I can't remember the exact stats, but our pressure was down and our tackle were minus 10 tackles at quarter time, and that's something we've been talking about over the last sort of 4 weeks. So we need to get back to that, and we did in the last 3 quarters. And you put your head over the ball, you tackle, you get in the front half, and you consistently sort of put up some numbers on the scoreboard.
You're roughly halfway through the year. I think you're as best positioned as anyone in this football club from a maturity perspective. Where do you see the group at, and where do you need to improve for the back half of this year?
Yeah, it is a consistency, I think. We're playing some good footy against the sides around us and below, and we've got to take it up a notch to match with those the Brisbanes and the Collingwoods. So, look, we'll do a great review. We review games really well, and we'll review sort of our first half of the year, and I'm sure Sam will come up with something in the back half for us.
Thoughts on Friday night football in Tassie?
It's not that cold. You look very cold, but it's not that cold once you're up and about and running around. The crowd, and it was an arm wrestle, but the crowd was involved. So, look, I'm all for it.
It was low scoring, but it was a great spectacle. Congrats on a good game.
Thanks, Dal. Cheers, mate. Well done.
Welcome back to Friday Night Footy on Fox, brought to you by the new Ford Ranger Hybrid. And the Hawks have got away with one here, and full credit to them. They didn't look like it at half-time. They needed a response, and they found one in the second half. The Adelaide Crows got a bit of their own medicine.
All right, before we go down there and let them have a little bit of a jibber-jabber, I'll just run through the stats here so I can relax a bit. Need medication after the game. You're not wrong. What did he say, though? Close game, but it was a good spectacle. My gosh, that's one of the worst games I've seen all season. Let's make no mistake about it. I can't remember the other game, but there was one more game I saw that was like this, and you know what? It was just so good when the final siren came, because folks. I tell you what, it was definitely a better game to listen to than watch. That is for sure. And I don't know how Hawthorn got up and won. That is for sure. I don't know how Hawthorn Adelaide let that game slip. What did Adelaide kick in that final term? 1 goal 3. Adelaide kicked 1 goal 7 after half time, and of course 2 goals 4 in the final term for the Hawks, putting on 4 goals 7 in the final half of football. Very low scoring, 11 goals 25 in total. These are the games that we don't really want to see in our brand of football, but you're going to have them nonetheless. Look, I think both of these teams. Well, after that, I tell you what, the teams above them will be licking their chops, going, you know what? These are pretenders. They're not contenders. They are pretenders. Both of these sides. Yeah, this is why I don't think either of these sides could possibly get there in the final day in September. Let's have a little bit of a look at the goal scorers, because there just wasn't many for a game of football. Connor McDonald, Jack Gunston for the Hawks kicked 2, Newcomb and Chol singles. For Adelaide, Ben Keys with 2, Ranky Curtin Cumming singles. Not much to go through there. Jarman Impey, he had a fantastic game with 28 disposals, 2 clearances, and Josh Weddle. I think they were the 2 players that really held Hawthorn into it. Gunston was pretty good up forward, but Impey and Weddle through the midfield off the back. They gave Hawthorn great run. Don't worry about the small forwards. The small forwards were not there to be seen today. These are the 2 players that pretty much held Hawthorn together. Weddle and Impey. Dawson, 24 for Adelaide, not too bad. Ranky tried his heart out, 23, 1 goal, 1. And we'll just quickly go through these. Josh Ward, 20. Ambrosia, 19. Rochelle, well, he didn't really fire tonight. 17 touches, 4 clearances, just a 2 behinds. There we go. Who else we got down there for everyone? Connor McDonald, 15 touches, 8 kicks, 2 goals, 2 clearances. Not too bad. We'll head back down to Taylor Walker. Didn't get the goals today, unfortunately. Jack Ginnivan didn't kick a goal today. Watson didn't kick a goal today. Darcy Fogarty didn't kick a goal today. And, of course, I think Riley Thilthorpe. Did I say Riley Thilthorpe? I don't think he kicked a goal either today, or did he? No, he didn't. All right, there we go. We'll go through the team stats in just a moment. When the Hawthorn theme song, when they're about down, I better put that on for all the Hawthorn supporters. Of course, Bianca will be happy Hawthorn supporter there today.
100%.
Yeah, they're just about there. Just have a look through the stats. Adelaide +2 disposal count. They're nearly there. There we go. Inside 50s, Hawthorn came back strong, 52-59, +7 to Adelaide. Free kicks. The umpires, they liked Hawthorn in the second half, 26-24. There we go. All right, let's head down to the theme song. All right, there we go. There's the Hawthorn theme song for all the Hawthorn supporters out there. You know what? 57% polled in our poll today that Hawthorn would win. I'll tell you what, Adelaide led for most of the game. Hawthorn for about 5 minutes, and they ended up getting up. Hawthorn, of course, were favourites in this match. In the stoppages, clearances, hit-outs, Adelaide won that +8. Clearances +4. Centre clearances +4. Stoppage clearances all tied up. Contested possessions, only, there we go, only 10 the difference, uncontested. Not much difference. The turnover game, as you just see, just scrappy game from both teams. 80 and 83, super high turnover game from both teams. If you have a look at the inside 50 marks, something needs to be done with these. They need to look at their forward line, fixing that up. For next time they play. 3 marks inside 50 for both teams when they had plenty of inside 50s, both of them. Let's just go back and have a quick look. Inside 50s, 52 Hawthorn, 59 Adelaide. Sorry for bringing this so quick. But when you see 3 marks inside 50 for both teams, yeah, I mean, wow, that's just disappointing there. Look, Adelaide just didn't. Their forwards just didn't play for each other. That was just too congested down there most of the game. Bombing it in, Hawthorn spoiling, getting it out. Well, it was a little bit the same, but Hawthorn did create a little bit more space down there on occasion. Contested marks, +9 to Adelaide. There we go. Tackle count, both teams tackled reasonably well, 78-75. Tackles inside 50, as we said after halftime, Hawthorn certainly lifted their pressure up in the tackles inside 50, which they needed to do, 17-21. Adelaide. Let's just have a look and see if this live ladder has been updated. And there it is, with Hawthorn losing that game tonight. They remain in third on 36 points, only percentage separating them, Geelong and Hawthorn. Geelong still yet to play. Hawthorn jump up into fifth spot. Now they are 2 games clear of 8th position, which is what they wanted. That was super important. Otherwise, Hawthorn could have been finding themselves outside of the top 8 after this round. But they secure a top 8 spot for now, and looking forward to a top 4 spot if they can get there. Of course, other teams still to play. Adelaide and Hawthorn are the only 2 teams that have played 14 games so far. And of course, that means next week, both Adelaide and Hawthorn will have a bye, so they won't be playing next week. They'll take a week's rest. But can you imagine this would be the outcome at EG? Now Freo need to win for sure. They do. They got a few games at home, so they just all they can do is concentrate on their own efforts and continue to win, I think. And if need be, the rest will fall into place for them. But you've just got to concentrate on getting your team right, up and running, and doing everything right and putting wins on the board, and then you might get there. Don't forget, though, tomorrow's games, you've got Brisbane taking on the GWS Giants. You look at that ladder. If the Giants lose and the Brisbane win, Fremantle, you can jump into the top 8 without a shadow of a doubt. You'll go to 8th. You won't go above Western Bulldogs, but you will go to 8th. Then we've got Essendon, Geelong tomorrow, North Melbourne, Fremantle. That's going to be a fascinating game, that North Melbourne Fremantle game. That is for sure. It should be a ripper, but 3 good games there on tomorrow, folks. We should be back to cover at least 2 or 3 of them, hopefully. Winning the only formula that is absolutely spot on. You got to put wins on the board yourself. Other teams can't win you a grand final or get you into the top 4. You've got to win games to consistently keep on climbing that ladder, putting pressure on the other teams, and get yourself into some good form. So you are spot on there. Hamburgers on you. Winning is the only formula. Absolutely. Hey, Matt, how you going? Welcome in. Good stuff. Thanks, Emmanuel, for coming in, and everyone else, and Tina, and everyone else who popped in on the chat. Jettles was saying, what the hell are the Crows doing? Well, they're just doing not a great deal. Let me say that. They were not doing a great deal. Mind you, nor were the Hawks, but for somehow another tight game between these 2 clubs ended up in a 3-point margin to the Hawks. And they're cemented in the top 8, at least for a couple of weeks anyway, due to, let me just have a look, because 36, there we go. So Adrian, I was going to say, if Freo win this week, and next week and win by a reasonable margin, they'll climb above Hawthorn. Because next week Hawthorn have the bye. So Fremantle are still a chance to go above Hawthorn in 2 weeks' time if they can win both of those games by a little bit of percentage. They're only 5% behind, a very gettable margin. So there you go. You could still climb up there above the Hawks if Freo win the next 2 games. I'm not sure of where's the fixture. So Freo play. Oh, there we go. Freo got North Melbourne, and then Freo play Essendon. So you need to win both of those games, which would be quite interesting at all. All right, hey, that's enough for me. I'm over now. Thanks, everyone, for coming in. I'll just leave it on the commentators, and I'll give you a little bit of analysis, wrap-up on some of the game. But thanks, everyone, for jumping on in, as I'll let this run for about another 5 minutes while they're having a bit of a chit-chat before I end it. And thanks, everyone, for coming in. Until next time, ciao for now. See you at the next game, and I'll just let this run. I think they're talking to Impey down there for Hawthorn now. Well, thanks, fellas, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Person. And I put it on him a couple of times just saying, hey, get the forwards together here. We need these moments. And he was able to step up himself. He's a real good focal point and we love having him.
You looking forward to an uninterrupted sleep tonight?
I certainly am. There's been one night last night, so I get another tonight.
Good on you, mate. Well played tonight. You were sensational, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Very well spoken, young man, indeed, isn't he?
Well, eloquent and considered was the other word I was thinking. He thinks about his football so well, and geez, he runs hard.
Let me just get this out while Zach will whack me. Don't forget, you can get involved with our KSC FLG MVP. Win some KSC vouchers of your own just by heading to the URL each and every Friday night and voting for your KFC FLG MVP.
Wasn't he consistent right from the get-go? His run and carry, and he and Eamon are the two that are relied on so heavily that Matty Nicks was concerned about with that back half run, and they were able to squash that early. As he was talking about short handballs that invited the Crows' pressure and their big bodies, and as soon as they were able to work the ball forward, then all of a sudden their smaller, more fleet of foot players, the Hawthorn players, started finding a little bit more space when they were able to open the game up with their own ball use.
He was under enormous pressure in the first quarter too, because he was the one that had to repel all the attacks, because Adelaide was a +9, their inside 50 count. They just felt lived inside Adelaide's forward 50 in that first quarter, and quite often Impey was the one who had to try and get it out of there.
Exactly.
So well done to him.
Let's have a look at some of these Huey fourth quarter moments here. And when goals are hard to come by, the game's in the balance, every single one of your decisions that you make as a player out on the ground are going to have some sort of an impact. So, I mean, it became really, really desperate, and you just had to try and maintain some level of composure to try and find a way to score a goal. Josh O'Shelley, you're back from there every single time, so had a chance to open it up. He hits the post.
It's Dawson before three-quarter time at the post too, guys.
Yeah, and then Jack Gunston kicked that from outside 50, and it just kept going and going and slid to the other side of the post. So this moment here was pivotal.
Great tackle.
So great tackle, and then the ball just gets put to ground by Dan Curtin. Watch him let the ball go.
Stiff. He only had one arm still when he was trying to get up.
He could have argued that he was going to get up and pick the ball up and hand it back up.
Yeah.
But
I think the umpire was caught in what happened last week, the argument of players putting the ball on the ground.
True. Butler then goes around the corner and the Chief nearly has a conniption and he misses. Jordan Dawson there looked like he was hurt. And there's our man, Xiaomi Mi, who's running from the start to the finish.
It's the worst kick of the night.
It was. McDonald, I just thought McDonald was sensational in the back half. I mean, he hit the scoreboard a couple of times in a low-scoring affair. And this one, when we had a look at, Nick Watson's going to have to...
Well, Watson was on Rankin. I'm not sure that's the ideal matchup. Now, Watson was doing some centre bounce work, but I don't think you want him on Rankin as a defensive 50 stoppage.
We didn't see it. I don't know if Fogarty did he throw the ball in the boot to try and get it through the goals. I think Phil Thorpe was having a bit of a crack at the but we didn't see that. But it would have surely you get up and you talk and trying to get it there.
Yeah. He wasn't going to kick the goal from 98 metres though. Let's be honest. If that's what he's arguing.
If the Hawthorn boys had maybe he's arguing about a 50.
Try to milk a 50. Yeah. We'll see if we can get to the bottom of that. This was a really big one as well, because the first quarter, we talk about ball movement all the time, being able to transition the footy from one half to the other, and Adelaide did it at will in the first half. They were up around, I think it was 41%.
40-odd%, yeah. And then compared to 12% for Hawthorn.
And then that's the first half there.
So 17 sides from 17 efforts.
Yep, and then you go to the second half.
Up.
And this is credit to the Hawthorn Footy Club. I mean, 27 times they left their defensive 50 in that second half and then managed to get it inside 50 once.
And a lot of people would ask, well, why do you focus on pressure so much? That's why you focus on pressure so much. Because it unpacks your opposition ability to win the ball, to use it, and to share it, and then to be able to move it. And so that I think that's a direct correlation with the Hawthorn's ability to kick the grass and then go and hunt a little bit more. It disrupted Adelaide's offence. It prevented them from getting territory. Then the game's played, then the defenders are on their heels rather than on their toes.
Yep.
You put them under a little bit of pressure and they did just enough to get that 3-point win. That's three-point results.
3 3-pointers in the last 3 times they've played down there. Hawthorn get a bit more assertive on the back of it because then all of a sudden they can't move the footy, so then they take a much more proactive position. So I'm not sure whether you boys are big on expected score. There's the recent meetings, so 3-3-3. You could have invested there if you're so inclined. Are you big on expected score or not?
Sometimes.
Not at all.
Sometimes I am. You know, last week, I definitely was as a Brisbane Lions supporter. That was clear as day. But yeah, I thought tonight it sort of felt like it evened out. But you look at that, expected score for Adelaide should have kicked 89 points, actually kicked 44 points. Now, wet conditions, hard to see a team scoring 89 points tonight, especially the way Hawthorn ramped up from quarter time with their pressure, because the ball was slippery.
I think like inside 50s and front half territory is a really good indicator of whether you control the territory game, how the stoppages have gone, and Crows are dominant there at half time. It was 19 or 20 inside 50s more. But I think it was 13 towards Hawthorn the other way in the second half, and that's where we saw them grind their way back into the game.
Yeah, 1 goal, 7 in a half of footy generally doesn't get it done. We'll take a break. We'll hear from both coaches. The press conferences still to come, and tomorrow, big one, Super Saturday kicks off at the Gabba.